Castillo. This miracle run continues for St. Peter's. The Peacocks make history. Just another reason you gotta love March. Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
I
hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
What a great ending to the college basketball season last night as Kansas is down 40-25 at half and comes storming all the way back. Ends up beating North Carolina by 3 last night in a thrilling national championship back and forth in New Orleans. I know a lot of you got a chance to watch it last night or you listened to it. It was fantastic. Now, you would have loved Arkansas to have come out the victor last night, but we still got a great game and a great ending to this season. Jaylin Williams has announced what he's going to be doing, and he is going to enter his name in the draft process, but not hiring an agent, therefore making him eligible to come back to school if he so chooses. We're going to talk about that this morning. Traylon Burks, he's been a hot button topic this week in the National Football League, kind of what he's been up to as he gets ready for the upcoming NFL draft. Plus, Arkansas basketball. Preseason number 1 right now with Jeff Borzillo of ESPN.com. They're tied with Duke right now in Vegas for the best odds to win the national championship next year. A lot of things going right for Arkansas's way. A long way out till next season, but a lot of good things right now. We're going to see what happens with Jaylin Williams and his decision and how that impacts Arkansas basketball this next year in the coming weeks and months.
Well, did you make it to the end of the game last night?
Drew asked me this morning. I fell asleep in the first half and just kept dozing in and out. I was sitting on my lazy boy next to my 2 roommates, and one of them was screaming the whole time, so I didn't really get a chance to sleep. But I ended up watching the conclusion, but I can't honestly tell you that I was locked in last night.
I made it through the game, but the last thing I remember is the nets being cut down and the Werner ladder being out there. They've talked about that, and I didn't make it to one shining moment, but so it probably was a great one. I heard you playing a clip from it a minute ago, but man, what a tale of two halves, or however you want to say it. Kansas turns up the defense, trailing at the half, and comes back, forces a bunch of North Carolina turnovers, and puts them kind of on the hot seat there from that standpoint. But what a difference it was at halftime. And they asked Bill Self, they asked David McCormick after the game about, what was the speech, what was said. Tracy Wolfson, Jim Nance both asked those questions, and I thought the interesting thing was when Bill Self said, "Would you rather be down?" Referring back to their previous championship game, would you rather be down 9 with 2 minutes to go, or 15 with 20 minutes to go? He said that was the only thing he admitted to saying at halftime. Whatever happened in that locker room worked, because Kansas with a historic comeback in the second half.
I think that game was in 2012 against Kentucky, if I remember that right, where they came back, but Kentucky and Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, they won that national championship, if I remember that correctly. So they just got it done, and give credit to Bill Self, give credit to our own Jeremy Case, who's the son of Rita, one of our employees here at ESPN Arkansas, and that team, O.G. Abaji, Christian Brown. I mean, they had guys making plays. You mentioned McCormick. When Baycott went out with that injury, they just pounded it down low to McCormick. I felt bad for Brady Manick, because Manick's given up several pounds to McCormick last night. They should have just fouled him down the stretch. I don't know why they did that. Instead, he got a nice little baby hook, but that's what they did down the stretch last night, and Kansas became the victor after some big-time plays.
He just got beat up last night. McCormick comes down with that back of his elbow. It wasn't really an elbow to the face, but it
inverted.
Was his bicep, really more of the tricep, rather, came, just the way it happened. But he took 2 or 3 shots to the face, just basketball plays last night. So he's probably feeling it a little bit this morning, and in the hurt and the pain of trying to get over that. They had a look at the end. Kansas had great defense. I think it was Brown that was there, the hand in the face, and the shot never really had much of a chance to go in, and the game ended. But Kansas, 4th national I would have thought, you just hear the word Kansas, you would think more than 4 national championships, but it was the 4th in school history, and Bill Self, the first Kansas coach to have multiple titles.
So they won in 2008. A memory I know Drew wants to forget. They won this year. They won with Danny Manning. When was the other one?
Well, Roy Williams won one there, didn't he? So Manning won in 88, and that was Larry Brown was the coach then. I believe Roy Williams won one in between all of that. I can't tell you the year, but
I know Kansas lost to Syracuse in 2003 with Jerry McNamara and Carmelo Anthony. That was the Kirk Heinrich and Nick Collison team with Roy Williams. I just can't remember if he's won a national championship. But, yeah, that is, to your point.
I would have just thought, not knowing that Kansas would have had somewhere near what, of course, Duke has, 7, and North Carolina 6, I think, is the number for national championships. So it just tells you how hard it is.
05.
05, so, yeah, okay. So
trying to think
88, 05.
No, I was saying Duke only has 5.
Duke has 5.
North Carolina has 6.
6, okay.
And now Kansas has 4.
So, but what that tells you, that number, how hard it really is. And Coach K referred to it as the Holy Grail the other night. Arkansas's got 1, should have 2, should have beaten UCLA. That just tells you get to 2 or 3 titles as a program. It tells you where Villanova's at with 3? Yeah, because they go on one in the 80s there in the big upset, then 2 with Jay Wright.
Massimino,
Raleigh Massimino.
19 and 17, yeah.
So, that just tells you how difficult a national title is when you think, and it also tells you how, I know it's a different sport, what Alabama's been doing in football is pretty incredible too, because I don't think it's less challenging to win a football title.
Because it used to be 32 teams, and then they expanded 64, and then they expanded to 68.
No, they went to 48.
Oh, it was 48.
There was 48 teams for a long while, and then I'd say for a number, and then it went to 64.
64,
then 68.
68, and wouldn't be surprised if they expanded at some point in the future. But yeah, the basketball NCAA tournament champion is not always, in my opinion, and I think most people agree, does not only select properly who is the best team in college basketball that year, but it's also very entertaining, in my opinion, the best time of the year when it comes to that. But Kansas is your victor this year. They got hot just like North Carolina did, and for Bill Self and his team to get together and do what they did in the Big 12 this season. And, I mean, remember, they got slaughtered by Kentucky in the Big 12 SEC Challenge, and I think there were some questions that were raised after that loss. Well, Bill Self and company answered them because they went through some talented teams this year, including a North Carolina team that was coming in the NCAA tournament that had won 11 of 13 games. Hubert Davis did a magnificent job in his year one. It's just his first year after taking Roy Williams, which is pretty special to see how far he's come as a head coach. And really,
both of those coaches last night succeeded Roy Williams. Roy Williams, Bill Self took over for him at Kansas, and obviously Hubert at North Carolina. So that was an interesting twist to that game last night.
A dynamic that a lot of people were paying attention to and talking about last night. But what a college basketball season. Arkansas had a great one. Kansas concluded it. And the one shining moment, if you haven't got a chance to watch it, Arkansas's featured in it, I think, 3 times. So it's pretty nice to have you being in that this morning.
All right, we're off and running here on a Toyota Tuesday. We're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the number to call Ben and his crew. Hey, if you cut the cord a while back and you've been watching your TV on the streaming services, whether it's YouTube or Hulu or wherever, come back to DISH now. 3 TVs in the house, plus the DISH app that allows you to watch TV on the go with built-in Sling. $90 a month, $89.99 a month right now to get DISH in your home with whole home DVR, HD in every room, voice-activated remotes, all the free extras, including free installation before the week is up. 877-305-DISH for World of Wireless.
When we come back, we'll talk more about Jaylin Williams and the decision he has made entering the NBA draft process but will not hire an agent. Stay with us. It's a Toyota Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
We're finally here. The top teams in college basketball have been determined, and the Final Four is set. Looking to wager on these games or the national championship? Head over to betonline.ag on your desktop or your mobile device and sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV to get started. That's BLEAV. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all your updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with a click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is stepping up its bourbon selection. They now have E.H. Taylor, Angel Envy, Buffalo Trace, Bullet Rye, and Breckenridge, plus the same great pizza that you've come to know over the years. Give them a call at 479-783-9941 or check them out at papaspub.com. Stop in tonight for one of their new bourbons at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Thursday. There's a good look at Jaylin Williams. That'll help his cause a little bit.
Great cut on the weak side by the big fella.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
So now we've gotten a lot of text, calls, and messages in the past week or so asking Ty, Tommy, Drew, Maddie, Phil, Derek, Zach, what's Jaylin Williams going to do? Well, they made an announcement yesterday via Arkansas that he is entering the NBA draft process, but again, is not going to hire an agent. What that means for Arkansas basketball coming up in just a sec.
Hey, don't let mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas ruin your backyard fun this summer. Mosquito Joe of Arkansas is a family-owned business right here in the natural state that can make outdoors fun again and make it fun all summer long for you. Give Mosquito Joe a call, 479-202-9960. If you've never had your backyard or your outdoor living spaces treated for mosquito to get rid of the mosquitoes, it's amazing how they do it. They get in the shrubs, they get in the trees, they of course get around the air conditioning and the wet ways or the wet parts maybe that you have around your house. But pretty interesting how they go about ridding your backyard of mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. Also, if you have an event coming up, they can do some special event spraying as well. 479-202-9960 is their number. That's 479-202-9960. Your first service is only $39. Learn more at arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Would love to know the feedback that Jalen will be receiving from NBA scouts and GMs in the coming months. With Eric Musselman having NBA connections, he's going to get a good dose of knowledge on kind of where he stands. I've seen him mocked anywhere from late second round to late or early second round. I haven't really seen him.
There was one that someone sent us last week. He was at 27.
Okay.
So that would put him late first round. But this is exactly the move we talked about a week ago that we expected. Dip your toe in the water, go through the process, everything he talked about in his statement yesterday, do the interviews, learn what it's about. So that way, if it's not right for you now, which I think he's coming back, but that's just my gut feeling on this, he'll have a leg up or at least, know what he's getting into the following year when he goes through the same process again, but maybe with an agent by his side this time. The key in the whole thing, just like we talked about with JD Notae yesterday, who clearly declared he was hiring an agent. Jalen was real clear, I'm not hiring an agent. So that's the difference in retaining eligibility and not, obviously. So I think this is absolutely the right move, and if it was my kid, this is exactly what I would advise him to do, is get this knowledge, get the understanding of the process, if nothing else.
I know Eric Musselman has already said, this was on the Field of 68 podcast down in New Orleans, that he needs to play more vertical this next season. He took over 50 charges this year. You're not going to say him do that this next year. It's too much wear and tear on a guy that's 6'10" and being his body. But having that first-team All-SEC selection, being an All-SEC defender and being a menace for many opponents this past season, I think he could do the same. And I think his offensive game, if you look at how much talent is going to be more around him, I think he's going to get even better looks than he had this year because of all the guys that are going to be driving to the rim. I would hope that he would expand his alley-oop game because there's going to be a lot of lobs, I think, thrown his way this next year if he comes back, just based on Nick, Jordan, Anthony getting to the rim. Then I don't think they're going to have too much of a hard time doing this next year.
He was obviously the best rim protector on the team and maybe one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's got to finish. He's got to get his game on the offensive side to where he finishes at the basket stronger. He was much better in February and March than he was in November and December. So there was development, I thought, throughout the course of the year in getting him to finish his offensive game at the rim. So that's where he struggled early. I thought he was much better late. I think that's the piece of his game that he's got to make sure is not considered a weakness moving forward, is how he finishes at the rim. Because when you're a 6'10" guy, that's what you're counting on to do, is not just get rebounds and protect the basket with the arc and stay outside that arc and take those charges. You need to be able to get that offensive rebound and put it back or take it to the hole. And I thought he was much better in March and clearly developed that part of his game. I think another offseason and another season will make him probably eliminate that as maybe parts of his game that scouts say he needs to improve on.
Yeah, you look at the Duke game, Mark Williams is 7-footer, and Jalen had some difficulty trying to score on him just because of his length and size. And I know that Jalen would love to have some of those layup opportunities back that he missed in that game. And he just needs to continue in a certain number of areas to get better. I think you're, again, like Muss was talking about, if he comes back, you're going to see less charges. Not to say he won't take charges this next year. You're just not going to see him take 50-plus because, again, when you're on your back 24/7 as that age, I mean, you've had to deal with back stuff. I've had to deal with back stuff. It's not fun.
It's not just your back. You're taking a lot of those hits in the chest,
yeah.
And I mean, it's real. It's not just you're landing on your back. It's just the wear and tear on your body. And he's going to, with JD Notae gone, that means his role and his responsibility to the team is going to be even greater, because he's going to be the key figure to the veteran part of this team. Him and Devo Davis will be the two returning true veteran players on this team. So his team will need him out there. It's a risk anytime you set up to take a block. Just because you set up doesn't mean you're going to get the call, right? We've seen that, and that it's very subjective, and the official has to pick up the defender. You got to be outside the arc. There's so many things that go into that. He got a lot of those this year because he's willing to take the contact, and he stayed through the call. So offensive players were going to him and through him on many of those plays. That's going to be scouted. That's going to be worked around. There's going to be teams that say, all right, we're not driving to the hole. We'll pull up and take the 6-footer rather than try to get the layup. We're not going through Williams. So there will be some change in the way they approach him as well based on what happened this year and as more film is dissected.
And he's got some things that I know that he'd like to accomplish in his career as a Razorback. Back-to-back Elite Eights, had a smaller role as a true freshman, much more expanded role this year, an all-SEC performer, as I mentioned. And I think he has aspirations to be one of the few players that has been to a Final Four at Arkansas. And I bring this up again. There's never been an Arkansas 3 consecutive teams that have gone to back-to-back Elite Eights. And he talked about one of the things he said in the post-game, I think his pregame press conference prior to Duke, was that he felt like this team's floor was the Elite Eight this year. Well, they got to the floor. What's the floor going to be next year? Is the floor going to be an Elite Eight once again? Does he feel like it should be a Final Four, which is in Houston next year? That's something that I know that is a desirable place that he and his teammates would love to end up and would really just add an additional part to his legacy as a Razorback big man at the University of Arkansas.
And, yeah, so much of it's the matchups and who you get on your side of the bracket. And but you got to have a great season to get the seed to put yourself in a position. But we just watched an 8 seed come within an eyelash last night of winning the national title. Now, I don't think they're your run-of-the-mill 8 seed, but they're an 8 seed. They had to go through that path. So there's multiple paths to get to the Final Four. You don't have to be a 1 or a 2, but, boy, it sure seems to help when you are. So it's about having that right balance. We put a lot of stock and weight into regular season championships and conference tournament titles, and those are great to get remembered for 15 and 20 years down the road, but it's the Final Fours you want to get to. So finding that right path, getting that upset the opposite side. You know, Arkansas had that and getting New Mexico State instead of UConn this year. You need some luck along the way, but this team is going to be talented enough to get there. Hey, coming up this summer, end of July, the Peacemaker is coming back, and also another big weekend coming up at the Majestic, Ty.
Yeah, peacemakerfest.com. You can check it out. 2-day concert event at the end of July, like Tommy was saying. 121 Riverfront Drive down there by the river in downtown Fort Smith. The park gates open at 5 p.m. on Friday and then 4 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets, again, peacemakerfest.com. Zach Bryan, Lucas Nelson, and Promise of the Real, Charlie Crockett and the Steelwoods are the headliners, and the other bands you can find on peacemakerfest.com. The great thing about Peacemaker Fest is not only is it an incredible time that I think I'm going to for the 4th or 5th consecutive year, in the last 7 years, they've helped donate over $650,000 to local nonprofits. Peacemakerfest.com. We'll talk more national championships, some headlines, and a little Masters on the other side.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more.
Amazing. I was just thinking of a RAV4.
Well, imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Okay, I've just got my RAV4. I am picking up my friends and going out to lunch to celebrate.
Perfect. A bistro? A deli?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
Whoa, okay. I love barbecue.
Huh. Well, then you should imagine yourself digging into the best ribs you've ever tasted.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
My imaginary self thought you'd never ask.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Whether you're imagining yourself in a sporty Camry, versatile Highlander, or the spacious Venza, now's the time to ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Did you know that sometimes roof damage goes unnoticed? Have you seen a few houses in your neighborhood get new roofs in the past couple of years? It could be that your roof has damage. Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance adjusting and residential roofing. Let Brother come do a free inspection of your roof. He'll give you a complete analysis of your roof and work with your insurance company if it needs to be replaced. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
It is here, fast, reliable internet from Wave Rural Connect. Cedarville, Uniontown, Natural Dam, and surrounding areas get fast fiber internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust based in Ozark, Arkansas. Internet starts at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone at $29.95. Order now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Do it now. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today. 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Finding an assisted living or senior care facility is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Choose the best. Hopes Creek in Van Buren. At Hopes Creek, your loved one will be in apartment-style living, eating 3 home-style meals daily, and receive the care and services they need. The round-the-clock nursing staff monitors health needs in a secure, monitored environment. Plus, you can check on your loved one anytime with 24-hour access. Stop by for a visit at 2502 Fayetteville Road, or check out Hopes Creek online at hopescreek.com.
One of my favorite events every summer is the Peacemaker Festival. Located in downtown Fort Smith on the Arkansas River, the Peacemaker Festival not only brings in Arkansans, but people from all over the country. With Zach Bryan, Lucas Nelson, Promise of the Real, Charlie Crockett, and the Steelwoods as your headliners, Pecos, The Rooftops, Tanner Usray, Dim Dirty Roses, Gracie York, Jacob Stelly, and a special appearance from Ella Langley. The Peacemaker Festival. Check it out, peacemakerfest.com. Let's do this, Peacemakers.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Craig.
Jaylin Williams, a mile down corner. What a catch by Notae.
What a pass.
Watch The Morning Rush on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just search Hit That Line.
All right, got some headlines to get to this morning, including what happened in the national championship last night, some Masters stuff, plus a little news on Traylon Burks as well that I know a lot of you are intrigued by. And we will do all of that. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Razorback Camper Sales. They are ready for you. Huge selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups. They also offer full prep and setup at no extra cost, so you can leave the lot and start camping immediately. You're going to have access to the best parts and service department in the state. Plus, it's the oldest family-owned RV dealer in Arkansas, and they've been in business for over 50 years. Come see why our customers are always happy in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCamperSales.com.
High-low action right now.
Yeah, that's their game right there. McCormick, you better go up. Bennett trying to keep him away, and he hits another one. 2 straight down the floor.
We were talking about a little earlier, Tommy. Brady Manick got some elbows, some forearms. He just was getting beat up last night, and he gave up quite a good chunk of weight to Daniel McCormick late when Baycott got that ankle injury and was unable to go. And in that situation, you're down 1. I think you got to foul him, man. You just got to foul him, put the big man to the line. If he knocks down the free throw, and he does, but instead they let him have a baby hook.
Well, let's back up to the inbound play. How does Kansas make that mistake? And they got away with, stepped out. It was twice. It only matters if you step out once. And so 0.3 of a second come off the clock. That's a rule, by the way, that if the clock starts when you're down to 0.1 of a second, at least 0.3 have to come off because of the touch. So Kansas very fortunate. I thought they're going to let this thing slip through their hands on trying to run this inbound play way too tight to the sideline. How fortunate Kansas was just to overcome that mistake late in the ball game. You can't do that because obviously they would go to the free throw line. The end of the game situation would have been much different. I don't know why. I know it's a safer pass close, but my goodness, that was quite the error by Kansas late.
And they ended up being okay, even though you had a turnover, and it ended up putting 3-point-whatever seconds back on the clock.
3.2 or whatever. They only took 0.3 of a second off from wherever it was. So.
And North Carolina got a look from Love that at one point I thought was going in, and then it just ended up being an air ball. Brady Manick ended up slipping on the play. I think that play was designed to go to him, but he ended up almost falling. I think he actually did end up falling in that final possession, and I know that's really frustrating to see. To have a 15-point lead for Hubert Davis, and then just to watch it evaporate and slip away right in front of your eyes.
And take a long time to get a full night's sleep and full night's rest after this one to be this close. But still a tremendous season, and they started out slow, obviously lost some games in the middle of the year to be an 8 seed, but 2 historic, never-forget victories over Duke will be what defines this season. Probably even if they'd won the national title last night. Those 2 games, winning at Duke in Coach K's final game, beating Duke in the Final Four, may have, with North Carolina fans, overshadowed even a championship. I know that sounds weird, but this season is not going to be considered a failure or it slipped through your hands or anything. This season will be defined by those 2 wins for North Carolina, even if they'd won last night.
I think North Carolina fans are still very satisfied with how the season played out. No, you didn't win a national championship, but as you just said, you beat K in his final game at Cameron Indoor and you sent him home. I think North Carolina fans revel in the ability to do something like that. All right, some headlines this morning. UCA versus Arkansas, Baum Walker tonight. The softball team's going to Conway to take on the Bears. It's on the SEC Network Plus as you get ready for this games, and you're traveling to Gainesville later this week. It's a quick turnaround because you got these 2 tonight, then Gainesville's on Thursday.
Yeah, you got to travel tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, you're exactly right. Quick turnaround because they'll play, and I assume they'll leave. I don't know what time they'll travel tomorrow. Drew, you may know because of Phil's travel arrangements, but I imagine they'll travel fairly early on Wednesday, or maybe it's in the afternoon, but generally they'll get out of town, and sometimes that's weather-related.
I think they leave at 1 o'clock.
Okay, so there you go.
Got to leave the show about 20 minutes early.
All right, so there you go. So there's your answer. So yeah, quick turnaround to get on the road and see if they can win their 14th consecutive SEC series.
And it's not going to be easy going to Gainesville and going up against Kevin O'Sullivan, so we'll see how that plays out this weekend. But midweek game tonight and see if Arkansas can do it. Arkansas has had some struggles against midweek opponents, and I know against Little Rock you were down, was it 6-0 or 4-0? And then you ended up coming back
6-0, and then came back to win it.
16-8.
Was it 13-7, or I can't remember the
16-8,
score.
16-8.
Yeah. So the Arkansas, the depth in the bullpen. And we talked to Clay about this when he joins us in about a half hour. that's one thing, but that's what these midweek games are designed to do, is to help you develop some of this talent. You got to remember, Arkansas's lost a couple of midweek games for weather earlier in the year, and those are the opportunities where these guys that Dave's trying to bring along get a chance to pitch and get real innings and real at-bats that they can pitch to. So I think losing a couple of those games may have set some of the bullpen back, but I think you found a rising star in Brady Tigert, who what was it, 6 or 7 strikeouts in his 3+ innings this last weekend. There's a guy that may be a starter for you somewhere down the road.
He's got you. He's kind of the closer guy right now, and Arkansas would love to have someone that can come in. He's not going to be Kevin Kopps, but someone that can come in and just kind of close the door on some teams, especially late in the season. Tyree Appleby, former Jacksonville, is it the Red Devils? Is that, or they changed mascots, I feel like, when I was in high school, or maybe when I graduated. You're going to have to help me.
That sounds right.
Is that right?
It sounds partially right.
Okay. Well, Jacksonville's former player, Tyree Appleby, who was at Cleveland State, and then at Florida, is now entering the transfer portal. And according to Kevin McPherson, AR Hoop Scoop, he has heard from Arkansas, a guy that is a former Arkansan, and you'd be curious to see if there'd be any mutual interest. Arkansas reaches out to a lot of players, and people just assume that they're trying to get all these guys. That doesn't necessarily mean the case, but just something to keep an eye on when it comes to the transfer portal and a guy from Arkansas.
Be a lot more feelers put out than guys they're bringing in, and I'm like you. I don't think Arkansas is done with roster adjustments or changes. I don't think we've seen the last. I don't think we're going to see 4 or 5 more, but 2 more, maybe 3. I mean, you just think about the players that might exit. We've mentioned a couple names. Vanovers, I know, in a lot of people's minds because he didn't get a lot of minutes this year. There's a couple other spots there, but I don't think they're done adjusting this roster for next season.
I'll have to see what Audice Toney decides to do. Jaylin Williams, we've just mentioned his draft process is kind of it's gotten going where he's not hiring an agent, but he's entering his name in the NBA draft just to get some feedback and see where he's at. Do you think that if Jalen gets a mid to late second round grade that he should go? What's to say that he's going to get that much better with all these additional what we perceive to be one and dones next year? Maybe he even drops off in the rankings.
I think if you're not, this is just me, but I think if you're not a consensus number or first round projection, and if you're not somehow even in the first half of the draft, you've got room for improvement to come back. So I think his family's, values the education and finishing that degree. I think, to some that may not mean a lot. I think to his family, that does mean quite a bit from talking with some of them. I know his mom, from what I've been told, is a real advocate for him finishing his degree. To me, there's just no guarantees if you're projected mid to late second round. There's no guarantees if you're projected mid to late first round. So I think there's a lot more upside for him, and I think that's one reason he's taking this approach without an agent to get the information. But I think if your grade and the consensus on it is you're somewhere in the 30s or 40s, maybe even maybe he would be higher than the 50s, I would assume. I think you come back and try to improve on that.
Well, here would be my just devil's advocate approach on that. There's only 30 players that are drafted in the first round, right? Mm-hmm. If you're talking about solidly, and it's not even just college players anymore.
Well, it's an international draft.
It's an international that has been expanded because there's so much more talent overseas or just outside the United States than there's ever been before. So that even limits the opportunity there. And so this idea that Jalen comes back and improves enough to be a first-round guy just doesn't – I don't think that's going to happen.
But I don't think he's going to come back and get worse either.
It's not that he could get worse. He'll get better, but then there's the idea, he played another year in college, because now there's a perception out there, the longer you're in college, the less likely that you should be a high draft pick. That is a real perception out there. Ask GMs, ask scouts. It's one more year of wear and tear on your body. So, again, this is just the devil's advocate. I think he'll end up coming back to school, but I can't see a scenario where he comes back and plays his way into just this absolute first-round guy.
Well, I don't think he's going to come back and be a lottery pick, and here's what I don't have a good feel for is how many other big men are going to be in next year's draft versus this year's draft internationally. And that's where you got to gather the information. Mm-hmm. That's where you've got to have people on Coach Muss's staff put that together and give you something to evaluate, because sometimes it's not just whether or not your game is ready. It's also what competition are you going up against in the draft? What other players at your spot? Is this a good year for you or not? Sometimes you go early because, hey, next year there's going to be 3, 4, 5 more players at your position. So I don't have a feel. We know that there's several good big men in the SEC alone this year. And was it Kessler's already declared for the draft? You know, Sheboy's probably on his way. Next year may look better from that standpoint of at least the college players here who's not going to be back and be a part of potentially a draft next year.
Have to wait and see. I think June 1st is the deadline that he has to pull his name back out. Is that correct?
We had that last. I didn't save the dates, but there's 3 different deadlines on this. Was it April 24th or whatever is the first one to enter your name? Then you can pull it back out. Then you can go back in. So
I think it's the first that if he pulls his name out back by then he'll come back. I think that's right. Don't might have to double check me on that.
We gave those dates last week. I just didn't save them here.
Anthony Black has been added to the 2002 Nike Hoop Summit Team USA roster, which I thought was pretty cool. Anthony he played in some other thing recently that a guy had to sit out. But you're getting a lot of notoriety with these incoming freshmen. And kind of like you were talking about yesterday, Darian Ford, Joseph Pinion, and Barry Dunning Jr. kind of have gotten lost in the mix when you have 3 McDonald's All-Americans and guys that were in the spotlight as of last week. But this recruiting class, man, there's a reason it's number 2 in the country. There's some guys that are going to have an immediate impact on this team next year.
Yes, and the other thing, they keep playing. They stay kind of in their rhythm. I don't think a few weeks off is going to take them out of shape, but they're going to be here on campus in just over a month. At the towards the end of May. So. And start kind of getting indoctrinated fully into the basketball program. So I think the more they play, and I imagine Arkansas's guys are already playing games on their own, pickup games. We know that you're going to see some more of this, these all-star type opportunities for these guys. But it won't be long, and Muss will have them on a practice floor somewhere.
Because when's high school graduation?
Usually, graduations are scattered usually in the early to first to second weekend of May. Usually. Those 3 middle weekends in May.
So it's
depending on where you're at.
It's coming up for a lot of.
I know my kids get out on the 30th, and generally graduations, at least in Fort Smith, are 10 or 12 days before the school year ends. So I can't speak to what everybody else is doing, but generally, 15th, 18th, 20th, somewhere in there is when most high school graduations occur. I know there's some college graduations the first weekend of May this year.
Are there really?
Yeah, because a buddy of mine. My daughter's wedding's that weekend. They got to go to their daughter's college graduation at Arkansas State. So
first weekend of May.
That's what he told me. Maybe he didn't want to come to the wedding.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Why they're doing it so early.
I don't know the answer to that. I just tell you there's graduations throughout. Well, every weekend gets stacked up with stuff in May. You got Mother's Day. You got Memorial Day. You got all kinds of things going on in May.
Coming up, ready for those. We're getting I think it's pretty statewide how nice the weather. Speaking of May, that we got some May weather today. I think it's gonna get up to like 80 here.
It's kind of just rainy and wet yesterday, so yeah, it's but April showers bring those May flowers.
That's what I was told as a kid. Yeah. Some more news this morning: Packers and the Cowboys. I always get a kick out of when NFL franchises put stuff out about a player that they're looking at, and both the Cowboys and Packers have put something out about Traylon Burks. He met with the Cowboys yesterday. He's got a meeting with the Bucs later this week. This is from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, and it's also being reported that he's going to meet with the New Orleans Saints. He's traveling all over the place, like 10,000 miles, I think, this week. But as seeing him linked to the Packers, I know that makes Brett Good happy. It makes me happy, and I would not be surprised if he wound up in a Packers or Cowboys uniform at some point. Now, I know there's
the Saints were making some moves yesterday to get some more picks at the top. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he would be a part of it, but I know they were trying to make some moves yesterday.
From the Eagles, right?
They did. Yeah, they did a trade. I just saw that the Saints were trying to open up a couple of more draft selections at the top and doing some trading around. So I don't know where he ends up. I think it's good for the process. I'm assuming there's some workouts. Plus, you don't have. I would assume a little more relaxed setting. When you're meeting one-on-one, you're the only one in the room with their GMs, you and your team and your people. These are probably where teams, if they're serious about somebody, can really get to know someone. But The NFL is a big poker game, man. They'll bring someone they're not interested in because someone that's ahead of them in the draft order, they want them to know about it. I always wonder when they publicize these interviews and these private workouts and all this stuff, why do they publicize? There's a reason. They wanted somebody else in the NFL to know about it.
Do you think when he sits down with Jerry Jones that Jerry gets a couple McMuffins and puts salt in front of Traylon and see what he does?
Well,
if you put salt on,
I hope Jerry's not making his decisions based on that. So, and I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. But I would. Think
I'm not even a McMuffin fan. I wouldn't even want the McMuffin, much less the salt on it.
I'd rather have just a good old chicken biscuit. I think he's a. I mean, we always talk about the quirky questions that get asked in these NFL evaluations, and I think we've talked to Tyler about it, and Traylon was talking about how he was asked about 90s R&B stuff, and they just ask off-the-wall stuff, and it's entertaining to hear some of the things that these young men are asked during this process.
But I think it's probably a lot of fun for Traylon to go through this, get to meet with these teams, make connections with someone, see if there's a connection on a staff somewhere. I know Tyler talked about that when Dow Loggins, I guess it was with Cincinnati, that he was with. You know, that was a connection that he had to get in there and get a workout and spend some time with him in the summer. I did the Bears as well. So, I mean, you need to find a coaching staff connection. If you don't have it, maybe someone from your college coaching staff has it. So one thing that might help Traylon is the fact that Dow Loggins has an immense amount of NFL connections. You need someone that will latch onto you based on that relationship.
We'll see what happens with him getting drafted in the upcoming NFL draft. All right, it is also Masters Week. I know we've talked about that. Now, Clay wants to talk more of the tournament stuff, so you and me can talk some food this morning. I saw this, and I have not been, but I've been told about the pimento cheese sandwiches of my old roommate. His brother-in-law is Austin Cook, so he got a chance to go down there and see everything. And I've heard how cheap it was, but I've never seen the picture of the actual prices, how cheap these sandwiches are. $1.50, $2.50. Coffee's just $1 and stuff. So you got $10, Tommy. What are you buying on this list of Masters food and drink that we've got in front of us?
Well, morning? I can tell you from being there, I was talking to my brother yesterday. He arrived at Augusta yesterday. He's going to be there all week long or till Friday. I've been there a couple of times on the course. Like their soft drinks, they're labeled with the Masters logo, but where do you think they were canned at? Whose soft drink do you think is in there? Coca-Cola from Atlanta. Beer the same way. I mean, all of these, none of these, you won't find anything that course has a label from another brand, but you crack open that can of Coke and it's a Coca-Cola. Yeah, so don't sleep on the chicken sandwich either. That's pretty good out there. So if you said I had $10 to spend,
$10,
I would probably I would go $2.50 on the chicken sandwich. I'm gonna tell you, the egg. I know the pimento cheese is the most famous there, but I'll spend $2.50 on that. I'm going to spend another $2.75. So I'm at $5.25 after I get a beer, and then they have this. I don't even know if you can spend $10 there. I mean, that's the problem. Then candy bar. They got Masters candy, which is generally like that fundraiser type candy. That's usually what they sell. But so I'd probably go chips. I'm going to be at like $6.25 with some money left in my pocket to buy peanuts later on in the round, and probably another beer later in the day. That'll get me to my 10.
I'm going to get a barbecue sandwich, which is $2.50. A chicken breast sandwich, which is another $2.50.
So you're at $5.
Yeah. A soft drink, which is at $6. Chips and crackers, which is at $7. An ice cream bar, which is at $9.
Yeah, you need to save some money for that later.
One more soft drink just to top it all off. So that puts me at $10.
Yeah.
But that
I'm gonna tell you, you'll struggle to eat all the food you can buy for $10 at Augusta.
I'm telling you, I was just amazed, and I know that you've talked about, and I've had other people who have attended down there at Augusta National talk about the prices, but I did not realize they're that cheap.
And the gift shop isn't cheap, but it's not exorbitant either. I mean, you're going to pay $90, $100 for a shirt, but go to your local country club or your local golf shop. You're going to pay about $90 for a brand name shirt. So, and you can buy. I mean, you can get in there, and the next thing you know, you've spent $600 on stuff because you want one of this and you want one of that, and I want an umbrella, and I want a hat, and I want a flag, and I want 3 shirts, and I want a vest, and and my buddy needs a hat, and and then you get up there to the counter, and but it's like a once in a lifetime deal. So you do that, and you go through the gift shop, and then right next door to it, there is a UPS and a FedEx booth. So you take all that stuff you just bought, take it right over there, and you ship it home.
Do people wear other country clubs or other apparel outside of just Masters gear down there? Do you see that often? I didn't know if that was
probably, but I mean, there's just a lot of pride in wearing a Masters shirt. If you love golf, I mean, it's the Mecca. For someone that's Catholic, this would be going to the Vatican. I mean, that's how special Augusta National is. So most people that have been there, many of those on the course have been there for years. The tickets have been in their family for generations. So they probably either had a friend that's been to the course or whatever. But you always want to have that Masters shirt to wear back to your local group and when you play golf with your foursome. And it's a neat deal. So
is it kind of like the Packers where they're season ticket holders, you got to wait like 20, 25 years? Do they just go through the family and then no one
It's the hardest ticket in sports to get. I mean, you cannot – getting a Thursday through Sunday round in particular is just impossible because, like you said, they're handed down in family. Families hand those down for generations. The only thing harder at Augusta is to be a member. So, but it is extremely difficult to get a ticket or a badge. It's not a ticket. They call it a badge to be a patron at the Masters.
My buddy was going down there yesterday, Tommy, and heading over to see John Daly in his local watering hole, which he goes down to every single year.
Yeah, he's usually over at the Hooters, which is across the street, I think across Washington. And you can go there, and he sells his loudmouth stuff out of his RV, and you can usually see John right over there.
He's just putting on in their putting green or something outside of that Hooters, or maybe
I don't know, but I never. When the couple of times I've been down there, I didn't make it over there. I know my brother's been over there a few times, but it's a neat environment. A lot of the people that live in Augusta, they leave for the week and they rent their homes out. Sometimes they'll make a couple of 3 mortgage payments off of what they'll get for this 1 week. So I know that is a common thing. Is people renting out their very nice, $500,000 homes to people to come in for the week, and a lot of corporate activity goes on that way. So this is a big deal down there, and a lot of money gets spent at Augusta this week.
What do you think that the average person spends going down there with lodging, food, tickets?
Food's cheap.
Yeah. And the apparel that you just discussed.
Depends on how you got the tickets, but you can easily spend anywhere from $200 to $2,000 a day to get a badge to get in if you can on the secondary market. So hard to find there, but it would not be hard to rack up a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 tab to get there. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday at it's Joe Grill and Cantina. So get by Joe's Grill for Taco Tuesday. All the tacos that are the crispy beef and the crispy chicken tacos are $1 a piece, and that's good for lunch and dinner. So if you can't make it for dinner tonight, stop in for lunch. Sides of beans and rice are just 75 cents each. They celebrate every Tuesday with Taco Tuesday at Joe's. And don't forget, when the Hogs are on TV, and this is for baseball season 2, half-price apps and taps during every game. Be a good place to watch the Masters Thursday through Saturday. They're not open on Sunday, but Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps in Fort Smith.
I had Joe's last night, shrimp quesadilla, fajita burrito, and some cheese dip. It was great.
Racing fans, the Road to the Roses has started. Where are you going to bet? BUSR, of course. Win, place, show, you name it, they got it. You can even place future wagers on the Kentucky Derby today and lock in fantastic odds. Besides horses, you can bet on sports and play over 300 casino games at BUSR. Sign up today and get an exclusive 100% deposit bonus by going to BUSR.com/morningrush. That's BUSR/morningrush. Bet with confidence, bet with BUSR.
Level up your outdoor space today at your #1 source for backyard fun, Burton Pools and Spas. Cash and carry above ground pools start at only $19.99. Get up to $900 off in-stock models. Take advantage of upfront savings and low operating costs with a Doughboy semi-in-ground pool. Book yours now and receive a $600 robotic cleaner for free. Create the backyard of your dreams at an affordable price at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and Springdale.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Williams Tractor in Fayetteville is moving. After nearly 50 years, Williams Tractor in Fayetteville is moving to their new location and changing their name to WT Equipment. The new location is in Springdale on the east side of Interstate 49 between the Don Tyson and Johnson exits. Please stop by WT Equipment in Springdale and check them out. There's more exciting news to come. Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, now WT Equipment in Springdale. Find them online at WTEquip.com.
New for 2022 and in stock now at the Golf Nut. Tailor-made stealth carbon face driver, Cobra LTD X Woods, hybrids and irons, and Callaway Rogue ST driver. The Golf Nut has a great selection of golf bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. And in stock now, the new Puka headwear, pigs, pokes, and boomer hats. As always, check Facebook for daily specials. All this and more at the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
I've never been scared to stay by myself, but we've been talking, and as much as the kids are at home alone and John's out of town on business, we thought it was time for a security system. Guardtronic came out and walked through our home for a free estimate. He pointed out a couple of ideas I hadn't thought of. The licensed technicians were really knowledgeable and courteous. They explained exactly how to use our system. Now I understand how Guardtronic has been in business for over 60 years. Give Guardtronic a call today, 800-542-7866. That's 800-542-7866.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hey, Arkansas fans. This is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We're hogs through and through, and we like getting dirty, but our cars need to look clean and fresh, and that's where we come in. Come and check out our brand new expanded shop at 5606 Towson Avenue, or you can follow us on Facebook at JD's River Valley Restoration for new updates, including food trucks on the lot, car shows, detail courses, and much, much more. Give us a call at 479-629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Everyone loves great Tex-Mex. The best Tex-Mex around is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tex-Mex brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, pork belly tacos, and the best fajitas in town. And when the hogs are on TV, it's always half-price apps and taps. Your favorite drinks and the best Tex-Mex in town is at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Whether you're moving 50 feet or 500 miles, it's never a fun thing to do. So call the professionals. If you must make a move cross-town or cross-country, you want Move Mart at 701 Navy Road in Fort Smith. Move Mart represents Whedon Van Lines. Get free estimates, full-service packing, and vaulted storage with Move Mart. Call 646-MOVE or go online to MoveMartInc.net. Servicing the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas, Move Mart, let them do the heavy lifting.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and occasional thunderstorms are high this afternoon, expecting to be into the low to mid-70s. We are expecting to see a few showers or thunderstorms tonight, overnight low, upper 40s to low 50s. And then we will start to clear things out a little bit later on Wednesday, our high mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest. It's more than a
The call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
This miracle run continues for St. Peter's. The Peacocks make history. Just another reason you gotta love March.
Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
I
hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
News cycle just keeps on going here at ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Had a great national championship game last night where Kansas was the victor over North Carolina. Jaylin Williams announced what he's going to be doing with his career moving forward. Could still be at Arkansas, could be at the next level. I know that Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, is itching to get in here, Whole Hog Sports as well. So we got a variety of things we'll talk with him about. He'll probably reflect a little bit on JD Notae as well.
All right, we'll talk to Clay in just a minute. We're brought to you by Henderson Phillips. Tomorrow, Brett Good's going to join us. He is with the winning team at Henderson Phillips. Spent 10 years with the Packers, was a Razorback before that. Now he can help you tackle all of your benefit needs. He's a specialist when it comes to employee benefits, property and casualty insurance, health insurance for your staff, staffing management solutions, helping you get in compliance with some of the HR requirements these days. That's what Brett is there to be, a resource for all of that. So if you need help in any of those areas, particularly group benefits, call Brett Good at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292 for Brett Good with Henderson Phillips.
Clay, we'll start with JD. I know the more recent news is Jalen, but we touched on it yesterday. I want to allow some time for you here. Your thoughts on just his career at Arkansas and what he's meant to this program the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, the best compliment I can pay to a player that puts on that uniform is to call him a fighting Razorback. And that's what he did. And he, so many times that you saw him just, put everything out there, and he was in such marvelous shape. And you don't do that, by accident. You don't just show up and you're in shape. Apparently he would do extra after, any of their conditioning workouts and then go to the gym and work some more. And, that's why he was so respected by his teammates and his coaches. We didn't see all that. We just saw what he did on the floor and marveled that he could play almost unlimited minutes. Well, that's how you do that. And his work ethic put him in a position to really just ball out. And, you can look at his points, you can look at his steals, you can look at, the way he played defense. And I just have a lot of respect for, what he gave to the program and this team, and the 2 years that, that he played in the program will be remembered as, how the program got back to where it should be, and kind of took its rightful place. So he's part of that, and he's part of that great legacy of Razorback basketball. And so I congratulate him on those wonderful 2 seasons.
Is this the right move for him right now?
Oh, probably so. It's sometimes you have to make room for the new wave, and I don't know that where he's going to end up. As far as, is he an NBA player? Is he going to have to toil overseas for a while like Patrick Beverly? But just how hard he plays, he seems like he's not reached his peak, that he's still going up. And, whether it be another year of college, I'm not sure. But he's made the decision to become a professional. I don't know whether that lands him in the NBA immediately. But barring injury, I just think that he's going to keep getting better, and we'll see him play on that stage.
With the other two decisions that need to be made, I know Jalen's made part of his decision, but he has to make another one. Mm-hmm. Is he going to stick to the NBA and then audition Tony as well? Starting with Jalen, you were talking about not being as much a surprise for JD. I think Tommy and I wonder if you thought that Jalen was going to do the exact steps that were taken yesterday.
Well, he should. And I would think that, finding out and getting that feedback is really a big part of the process. And you want to know, am I ready? And you get the feedback from your coach, but you're going to get it from NBA teams if you go through this process. They're going to work you out, and they're going to tell you, and they're going to measure you. You're going to find out, what you really measure, not counting the hair. They're going to do all those things. I talked with Jimmy Counts, who stood, eye to eye. Jimmy knows how tall he is, and he doesn't think that, the listed height for Jaylin is quite right. The NBA scouts say the same thing. He's going to get feedback that tells him you need to do this, or if you come out, this is where you're going to land. You're going to be in the G League or whatever. And, that will, go a long ways in giving the kind of feedback that the family it's the same thing for the football players that think that they should go. Ricky Stromberg, I think he thought he was ready for the NFL, but he got the feedback that he needed another year. But you need that feedback, and it puts you at peace. Well, now I know. So yeah, I think that was important for him to make that decision, and he did it the right way. He's not committed. He's just getting feedback.
We're going to talk some golf later on. It's like a practice round. I mean, you want a practice round before a tournament. So even if your mind is 1,000% made up to come back, why would you not go through the process to understand and practice the process? So I know it's Masters Week, so Clay, I'll use the golf analogy. This is a practice round for him on the process of turning pro.
Yeah, to take it one step further, it's a mulligan. Well, I mean, it's you hit one on the first tee, and it's like, all right, that didn't really work, but you got another one in your pocket, and he can come back. He's got a mulligan for another year, and it might be the greatest year of his life, and that's what he knows. He is smart enough to handle this and make a good decision. You watch him play, his intellect, both basketball, on and off the court, he never puts anybody at jeopardy, his teammates. I mean, he does things. If there was any player that I've seen recently at Arkansas, maybe other than Bobby Portis, I'd say Bobby Portis was the same way, that I trust to make this decision and get it right and go through this process, it's Jaylin Williams.
And NIL is now undoubtedly a part of this.
No question.
He can make some money here, so I think that also changes the equation from previous years where we've looked at this decision play.
And he might make a lot of money. I mean, hey, if I was a successful orthodontist, man, I'd sign him in a second. I mean, he'd be my guy.
Well, Clay Maxey's one of our sponsors here at the Morning Rush and ESPN Arkansas. He's a spokesman for Clay Maxey, so he's UAMS. I mean, some big brands. I mean, he's not dealing with the local restaurant. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying he's dealing with some statewide big time brands already on his NIL roster.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so we'll be interested to see what happens, and I think he comes back, but hey, he may get some new information in the process that leads him in a different direction. We're brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Now's the time to start planning the backyard of your dreams for this summer. And a Doughboy Above Ground Pool can get your family swimming right now with Burton Pools and Spas. Cash and carry savings on Doughboy Above Ground Pools. Also special packages on fully installed Doughboy pools by the pros at Burton's with up to $900 off on selected packages right now. If you want to go kind of in between an in-ground and a above-ground pool, they have semi-in-ground pools pools. Find out more about those and get a free upgrade to a robotic cleaner right now at Burton Pools and Spas. They're in Springdale and in Fort Smith and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas is your source for backyard fun.
Going to talk some SEC football West win totals coming up with Bruce Stanton on the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Standard Materials Group has a Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
We're finally here. The top teams in college basketball have been determined, and the Final Four is set. Looking to wager on these games or the national championship? Head over to betonline.ag on your desktop or your mobile device and sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV to get started. That's BLEAV. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all your updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
For Patriot Transport, more than trucking, it's family. Visit patriottransport.com to apply.
I've never been scared to stay by myself, but we've been talking, and as much as the kids are at home alone and John's out of town on business, we thought it was time for a security system. Guardtronic came out and walked through our home for a free estimate. He pointed out a couple of ideas I hadn't thought of. The licensed technicians were really knowledgeable and courteous. They explained exactly how to use our system. Now I understand how Guardtronic has been in business for over 60 years. Give Guardtronic a call today, 800-542-7866. That's 800-542-7866.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Looking for something a bit lighter for lunch or dinner? Art's Barbecue and Burgers has added blackened or grilled tilapia to the menu with all of your favorite sides. If catfish is what pleases your palate, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's Barbecue. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has it all for your lighter lunch or dinner or your weekend pig out. And don't forget $1 off all burgers every Saturday. Call 452-2550 for to-go orders. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
7 on the shot clock. Looks a little lost, but he finally got a good pass into Tony, and Tony's fouled as he hits his shot.
Have you listened to Trusting the Process on the Hit That Line podcast network yet? Check it out on hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, back here on the Morning Rush, we've spent a good chunk of time talking about this Arkansas basketball team, the moving parts. JD Notae announcing his decision. Jaylin Williams announcing that he's entering the NBA draft but not hiring an agent, therefore leaving him eligible to come back to Fayetteville if he so chooses. We saw the national championship game play out in front of us last night. It was a great one. We had the one shining moment where Arkansas's featured, I think, 3 times, which is kind of cool. But I do want to spend some time here talking some SEC football. You brought up the win totals last week as we welcome in Bruce Stanton of Pradco Fishing, and I had not seen these until yesterday. And what you had said, because you're going to be in Vegas when?
End of the month.
End of the month.
Out there a couple days for a broadcasters convention.
Okay. And you had said that the 6.5 points or 6.5 wins that Arkansas is at right now is very enticing to you. And I think it's enticing to a lot of different people.
So if I put 100 down, can I expense that?
You're always asking
me.
asking him?
Yeah, I mean, he's always asking me about expensing things.
Sure, I'll let you expense
expense my wagers.
You approve your own expenses.
That one may not. That one may not pass the smell test there.
I'll tell you what,
6.5 though is intriguing.
The expense report from San Francisco, California is stinking expensive. It is, and I stayed with the buddy the last 2 or 3 days. And I worked around, I weaved, I waggled, and it still was just like the flight we had to get in, just all this crap. But
should have wiggled when you waggled,
I guess. But so the 6.5 that Arkansas is at right now, I think a lot of people are gonna bet over, right? I mean, 7 wins.
There's a reason it's at 6.5. So what's that tell you, Bruce? They realize how difficult this schedule is next year for Arkansas.
They think 6 wins is doable. They think 7 is going to be difficult. But I don't bet. But if I did, I'd take the over on that. I'd bet 7.
Yeah, Clay. When I look at the schedule, I only you look at Missouri State. I think you have difficulty in firm ink circling many games past Missouri State. I mean, I think there's a lot of games Arkansas can win, but to say that, hey, these are guarantees, there's not 3 or 4. I think you can just circle on the schedule this year.
No, you're right. And it's but I will say this. If you move into the season and you still got KJ Jefferson healthy and these wide receivers come through like I think they are, and they hit with their pass rush guys from the portal, I think this is going to be another really good team. And I look at Cincinnati. I don't think they're nearly as good as they were. And just down the line, I think they can compete with I don't see losses staring in themselves in the face like I have done in the past. I see possible wins. And so I think I would hedge towards the 7 versus the 6.
But do we all agree that getting to 7 probably requires at least a 3-0 start when you've got Cincinnati, as you mentioned, South Carolina at home, and then Missouri State after that? I think any path to probably 7 or 8 wins this year has to include a 3-0 start, Bruce.
I mean, definitely makes it easier if you start 3-0, but I don't think you're going to give up if you lose to South Carolina or Cincinnati. It makes it harder, but there's probably an upset in there somewhere.
What this team can do is that they can start a winning streak at any point, and I see the upward movement of the program. Everything points up with this program, so you have to assume they're going to take another step forward with the way they're tracking. And I think that past history tells you that when you have your quarterback back and he's an exceptional player, that you have, I don't know what's 25 juniors. And this team knows how to play. And I think that that 6.5 is just low. Now, that's just my opinion. And there have been some other years when I sit here and told you I didn't see many victories. But again, I look into the trees, and those trees look more like wins than losses.
Well,
but they're trees. They're big old trees.
The big difference between this year and last year, at this point last year, we were all wondering, could KJ Jefferson play?
Correct.
And now we know he can play. If he's healthy.
And he's going to get better.
If he's healthy, yeah, he's going to get better. But we're not having that discussion this year. We're not wondering what the quarterback position is going to produce because we know.
It's a top at least 3 quarterback. I know.
Well, we were having this discussion yesterday, coffee shop talk. Other than Bryce Young, who in the SEC would you trade KJ Jefferson? Who would you replace him with any other SEC quarterback?
Hendon Hooker might be the only one you'd even have a conversation about. And I don't know if I'd replace him with him.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't trade any of them for KJ because he's got 2 years in this system. If you traded, you're starting scratch with a new quarterback. I'm not sure Bryce Young is the right quarterback for Kendall Briles' offense. Now, Kendall might call a game differently with Bryce, but you're right, Tennessee quarterback, Hooker, he might fit more than Bryce Young because he's running that system. But I'm going to tell you, when you go out there and you watch him read the ends and how smooth he is, he's getting better. He is not tracking back the other way. And he's going to get hit, and that's the reason why you had to get Caden Fortin in the portal to so that you can play Hornsby at wide receiver. And that's the thing nobody's counting on is what Hornsby is going to bring to this team as a wide receiver quarterback option guy that moves around. And
KJ's got to take that accuracy with his passing to the next level because he doesn't have a Traylon Burks, and we may see what Hazelwood or Hornsby turn out to be, but Bruce, he's got to and I thought he improved all year long last year. He's got to start there and just get better with his passing accuracy from the get-go.
He did. I mean, I probably had low expectations on what KJ would accomplish, and I mean, he rose above every expectation I had. And I'll play off what Clay was saying about Malik. You think about a reverse run-pass option. There's so many things with his speed that's just going to put fear in corners and safeties and draw your defense to him. And even as a decoy, you have to account for. Yeah. So, it could be real exciting. It's just a matter of when they're going to lift the cover on that. Yeah. You don't want to do it too early. You don't want to show that to Bobby Petrino, but, you're going to show it to somebody.
Yeah. Are you how about throwing it to KJ? Y'all hadn't even talked about that.
There's a lot of elements. I mean, are you willing? So, again, your schedule opens up Cincinnati, South Carolina, Missouri State, Texas A&M, Alabama. Then is it Mississippi State,
Mississippi State on the road.
Is it at BYU?
Yes.
Is that right? Uh-huh. Then they have an open week, then Auburn. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Might as well get the last 4 while you're at it.
I don't know the lot. You're going to have to tell
Liberty,
me those last 4.
LSU, Ole Miss, and then Missouri.
Okay. So when do we see kind of that razzle-dazzle with Malik and KJ? Do we see that game
Saturday morning?
You think
I'll be there.
It's scrimmage.
Yeah, that is nice.
Open practice.
Opening up this.
Well, they want to entertain Clay Henry, so that they will show him some razzle-dazzle if he's going to show up.
Yeah. I just don't think you have the luxury to – I mean, you're going to have to do it Arkansas needs to be good enough to win with the run game, starting with K.J. Jefferson and the running backs. That's where they're going to win ball games this year in the RPO game. But Kendall Briles isn't scared to dial up a trick play.
I was just going to say that, and Ty, you asked when are they going to do it. Kendall Briles he does it in his sleep.
Yeah,
he's not scared. Plays. Yeah, so it's like he's itching when he walks out there. He's like, "All right, boys, here it is. Here it is. You better have practiced against it because we're going to run it."
He wants
today.
it on film. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna show it to you, and we're gonna make sure Alabama sees it, and they're gonna spend 30 minutes on it, and we're gonna show it against Cincinnati because South Carolina better be spending 30 minutes on this too.
Well, you think about the games this year. I think are we all in the same camp that Auburn's probably not going to be a great football team? Can we agree on that? I mean, Calzada's injured right now, and there's just turmoil that's happened all offseason with Brian Harsin. That's your away game. Your other away game is it's Missouri this year, right? And then Mississippi State. Those are at the bottom of this list. You get Bama at home. I know Texas A&M is a neutral site. You get Ole Miss at home. You get LSU at home. And I'm curious to see what Brian Kelly. So your toughest games, at least in the West, are at home. And you're getting Spencer Rattler in South Carolina at home. You're getting a lot of these tougher games that, in some cases, like Alabama, you're not expected to win. But they're not in Tuscaloosa or in Death Valley. They're in your house. So that's an added element, I think, this year that also has to be taken into account when looking at this win total for 6.5.
It's interesting that you say that because I've sat with Frank Broyles and Bobby Petrino and Ken Hatfield. And, sometimes you look and you say, well, not going to beat Alabama. So that's not the one you want to get at home. You want to get the teams that you think you can beat at home because that's the sure thing. Mm-hmm. When you play the weaker teams on the road, you have added, vulnerability to your team. They've got to travel. They've got all these issues. They got to make sure they get the right food and don't get sick. All those things are worries when you go on the road. So when you go through there and say you got the tougher teams at home, so you got a chance. I think what you're doing there is you're trying to figure out a way to win 12. And we started off this saying that if they win 7, they've defied the odds, right? So I don't quite look at it the way you just spelled it out, Ty. Oftentimes I will say you've got the more winnable games at home, and that really helps you. If this program truly has risen to the elite status, then you can go the way you spelled it out and say, good, we've got the toughest teams at home, so we have a chance to beat them at home, plus beat the weaker teams on the road. I'm not sure they're quite there yet, but it's an interesting discussion.
Well, here's what I would, and because I know you've mentioned that before, do you think if Arkansas basketball had played Kentucky on the road, Auburn on the road, that they'd win those games?
The basketball program's at a different level.
The basketball team is, they're Elite 8. We've known that.
They would be in the college football playoff conversation in comparison.
But here's what I'm saying: Arkansas is on that upward rise, and they may be there next year. That's what I said in the opening segment. Is that you're betting that they are. Well, if that's the case, then maybe what you said is right, Ty. But I'm just saying there's two ways to look at that. Mm-hmm. And coaches, I've heard them many times, not on the record sometimes. That's not something you want to tell your team. But they factor in as like, hey, we've got the games at home that we have a better chance to win, and that's a good schedule. Now, with K.J. Jefferson, you're loaded. And it might be the time that you can be a little more ambitious in how you think about it.
So what are we looking at in terms of attendance this year? We saw the basketball team sell out. Basketball team's going to sell it again next year unless something crazy happens with the incoming class that they have. What are we looking at in terms of what Razorback Stadium looks like, especially that opener, which, as you brought up, Cincinnati's not exactly a blue blood marquee team. They're still going to come into your house ranked opening day. You don't get those too often. What do we expect attendance season-wise, not just from the jump, but
you're asking about attendance?
Forward?
Bruce was talking about something before we went on the air. You'd been up at Springfield at Bass Pro Shops, and there was 100,000 people that showed up in one day to shop this big sale last week. It all depends on if COVID is no longer part of the conversation throughout the summer. If COVID is not on the rise and it is basically where we're at now, I think we're going to get back to that because I think people are itching to get back into normalcy, itching to get back to crowds, Bruce, itching to get back to traditions and normalcy. You saw it this past weekend, and when people just drove from near and far to spend money. I mean, it's different going to a game, but the games are what we have always done. I think if all of that stuff is no longer part of what we're talking about at all, you'll see lots of games with more than 70,000 there.
People are ready, and you got to think Cincinnati, BCS, they're going to promote the heck out of that game. They're going to sell it out. You got to think Petrino coming in with Missouri State, just the novelty. Mm-hmm. I would think that's going to be, if not a sellout, close to it.
People will line up to boo.
Yeah, and I just think, with things going back to normal, people are ready to do stuff. And it was shocking all last week in Springfield, Missouri at Bass Pro Shops. I mean, yeah, Johnny Morse spent probably millions to bring big country acts like Luke Combs, Luke Bryan, Hank Jr., and you had Bill Dance and Jimmy Houston and Roland Martin, Jason Christie, the Bassmaster Classic champion, all the NASCAR drivers.
And Bruce Stanton, of course.
Well, but people were out and they were spending money.
They were willing to show up.
And they were celebrating, and it was a lot of happiness. Dan Mullen was not there. It was a lot of happiness, a lot of good people. And, I think people are ready to do that now.
Yeah, Clay, I just think if we are truly behind this, like we hope we are, and what the numbers indicate now, we're going to see the biggest crowds and maybe the largest crowd ever for a football game at some point this year. Just if the team is winning, there's a couple of these home games because of opponent, because it is Alabama. If Arkansas, beats A&M and they're 4-0, I could see, was it October 1? I could see that maybe perhaps being, because we know Alabama's going to bring fans. We know if the weather's good, Clay, I could see that game, if everything fell right, being the largest crowd to ever be in that stadium for a football game.
I think that's right. Now, one thing to factor in, they've got a lot of home games, and people are not going to come to all of them because of the price of gas, inflation. Things may get interesting this summer. I'm not predicting doom, but I also understand, what can happen to the economy with what's going on, worldwide. So it kind of hedged the bet a little bit on that. And I'm not sure, how many Missouri State fans are going to travel to see a butt kicking. And you need the visitor to put some seats. You just said how many Alabama is going to bring. I don't think South Carolina is going to bring 7,000. No. So you will have the potential to have some empty seats in the visitor section because you don't get those seat backs until the week of the game, and sometimes they're hard to sell.
Yeah, but if Arkansas is 4-0, there'll be plenty of home demand. So.
Yeah, but I just as far as just selling out, I think there's enough tickets in a 75,000 seat stadium that people that really want them already going to have them, and so we'll see. But I will say, there's never been a better time to buy Razorback football tickets. It is a great stadium. You can buy a beer. You can it is, and the team is fun to watch. They can score. All those things are important. The experience, is back for Razorback football.
Yeah.
I tend to think that would be pretty incredible if you think about Arkansas basketball hosting and having the most people ever inside of Bud Walton Arena for the Auburn game. They could follow that up in their football stadium. And I'm going to be honest, I hope they start 4-0. I don't think that's going to happen. That'd be awesome if they did.
But that's what you need to have Alabama be special.
If they did do that, Tommy, to have that in the same year in 2022, the most you've ever had football, the most you've ever had basketball, and who knows, this baseball team could get hot and there'd be a super regional game that you could stack Baum Walker and have the most you've ever had. That'd be
we already know that'll happen if they keep playing the way they're playing. They're number 2 in the nation. That's how you get to be a super regional host, and they to me, their best baseball is still in front of them. They haven't put it all together, and they're still winning at a pretty high clip. I was at the post office yesterday, and our local postmaster, he likes to talk Razorback stuff, and he just went through all the sports. Ty, you just went through a handful of them. But they're going to have the biggest crowds they've ever had for women's soccer. They're having, they're in the thick of the race for the softball program. They're rolling there. It's just wherever you want to pick. Yeah, if you want to go see a Razorback team win, that you just open the website and just scroll down and say, I think I want to go watch this team, and they're likely to win.
If only track were any good.
I got to ask Ty this. If Arkansas is number 2 in baseball, who's number 1?
I think your Tennessee Volunteers are. I was
just wondering about that.
Hey, you got to remember this, Bruce. There's only one place to go, one direction.
Y'all still – how much longer y'all going to use those illegal bats over there, too?
You can't go anything but down.
Why aren't they playing? Can we not trade a series so that they messed up?
Hey, I'm for it.
That everybody in the country
we
that's
get
a
Vanderbilt
baseball
this
fan
year
would watch that series.
Absolutely.
I think that Tennessee dodged them. I think they backed out of that series.
Tony V didn't want any.
He wanted it.
They went 1-2 against them last year. And they said, that's enough. Hey, it'll make a great game in Omaha, right?
He's afraid of getting whooped again. So, hey, real quick before we talk some fishing, thoughts on last night's game? We've heard from Clay and everybody else. Just what a historic game as far as the comeback in the second half.
Yeah, I guess I was just shocked at the halftime score, 40-25. Couldn't really believe the way Kansas started, that they just let Carolina go on that big run. I think it was 16-0. So a little shock and awe there. McCormick got it going. Remy Martin got it going. They finished really strong. Kansas had a great season. Still hard to believe they won the national championship after Kentucky went over in the Big 12 Challenge and just absolutely destroyed them by 20+. But, Bill Self, he's obviously ran a strong program since he took over for Roy Williams. And I thought that was an interesting fact last night. Both coaches in that game took over for Roy Williams after he departed. That doesn't happen that often. But I'm kind of it was tough to watch because I don't really like either one of them. But it ended up being a good game.
It's a good game. You brought us some yum dingers this morning. I know that water's warming up, and that moon cycle gets back around again. It's going to be hot again this month.
Well, April's going to be game on, and I imagine next week and the week after there's a lot of people in our audience that are going to get sick, and I'll write you a prescription. You'll feel better if you go fishing 4 or 5 days. Go buy you a 30-pack of yum dingers. If you were at the Bass Pro World Fishing Fair last week, you could have got a 30-pack for $5.99. They're normally $10.99, so it's a $5 savings. But we make them right here in Fort Smith. We literally make them by the millions, and that's what you want to throw on a wacky rig. Probably for the next 2 weeks, starting next week. You go to some of these highland reservoirs, go to the river, go anywhere bass are going to be spawning farm ponds. You want to put a yum dinger in front of them. It's heavily salted, slow sinking, and you just want to line up your colors. The June bug, dark colors are going to be better for muddy water, and some of your watermelon reds and green pumpkins are going to be better for clear water situations. But it's yum dinger time. It's spawning time. And if you need an excuse to miss work, just give me an email, give me a phone call. I got a wife and a son. They're both PhDs, not in the medical field, but they can write you excuses.
Well, we can find all that at lurenet.com. We can tack along the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. Head to Gaston's. We want to tell you about Gaston's real quick. It's the place to stay. I mean, world record and state record size browns and rainbows are caught not every day there, but those kind of fish, those fish of a lifetime that are 25 to 35 inches, 20+ pounds are caught there at the White River and caught at Gaston's. So check them out on Facebook and get your reservation at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. Bruce, good to see you. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help? Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more.
Amazing. I was just thinking of a RAV4.
Well, imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Okay, I've just got my RAV4. I am picking up my friends and going out to lunch to celebrate.
Perfect. A bistro? A deli?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
Whoa, okay. I love barbecue.
Huh. Well, then you should imagine yourself digging into the best ribs you've ever tasted.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
My imaginary self thought you'd never ask.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Whether you're imagining yourself in a sporty Camry, versatile Highlander, or the spacious Venza, now's the time to ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I'm on a mission to help you cash in when you clean out your garage. So stop making payments on a car you're not happy with, because right now you could clean up in a Rath Road Ready vehicle, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. It's out with the old and in with the new, only during my Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event. So dust off that old ride and trade up when you bring it in today, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. Keeping the car you have? Keep it running this spring with a free inspection, half off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires in our Meineke Car Care Center. But hurry, this deal's done once 86 people make a clean getaway in a nicer, newer car. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYSauto.com.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the Hometown Roofers.
Looking for something a bit lighter for lunch or dinner? Art's Barbecue and Burgers has added blackened or grilled tilapia to the menu with all of your favorite sides. If catfish is what pleases your palate, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's Barbecue. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has it all for your lighter lunch or dinner or your weekend pig out. And don't forget $1 off all burgers every Saturday. Call 452-2550 for to-go orders. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
So the softball team and the baseball team are taking on UCA. Baseball team's taking them on in Baum-Walker Stadium, and the Courtney Deifel squad, they're going down to Conway to take on the Bears down there. The men's team tonight, 6 o'clock on the SEC Network Plus, as well as here on ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Clay, Tommy mentioned it earlier. Brady Tigard has kind of emerged as kind of the closer of this baseball team. What have you thought about him and what he's been already to Dave Van Horn's team this season?
Yeah, well, he is a closer, and he's got that mentality, and I think that's the role you'll see him continue probably for his career. It is such a valuable part of college baseball. If you can shut down the opposition, you got a great chance to win. And he gave them a great chance to win, and they just couldn't get that clutch hit. They got the sacrifice bunts. They put the ducks on the pond and didn't get him in. He should have got a victory in that game because he performed to a great high level. Now, I'm not surprised. He was supposed to be that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And they, every time that I've talked to Dave Van Horn, both in the fall and in January, he's one of the guys is like, we think he's got it. And he does have it, that it factor. He's got a breaking pitch that he can throw for a strike. And a reliever that comes in throwing that pitch, you're not going to hit it. And and then he can bury one in the dirt where it looks like that pitch and drops out. And so got a little juice. I'm talking about, mentally and physically. So, yeah, so that's, as you roll through the season, you keep looking for different pieces and parts that you can plug in. Well, now they got that piece plugged in now. They're and that's going to serve them well for the next 2 months.
3 basketball headlines for you this morning. Jaylin Williams announced yesterday that he's entering his name in the NBA draft. Will not hire an agent, so he's still eligible to come back to Arkansas if that's what he and his family decide that he's going to do. Tyree Appleby has heard from the Arkansas Razorbacks, according to Kevin McPherson. He has entered his name into the transfer portal. The Jacksonville native looks like he's going to be playing at his 3rd college at some point this next season. Anthony Black has been added to the 2022 Nike U.S. Hoop Summit team roster. Cool to see Anthony pick up another honor. We know about him, Jordan, Nick being McDonald's All-Americans, and now being added to this as well. Football news, Tommy. We were talking about Traylon Burks a little bit earlier. The fact that he's had meetings with the Cowboys yesterday, Bucs later this week, and it looks like the New Orleans Saints as well. Of those 3 teams, where would you like him to end up if it was just one of those 3?
Well, how about them Cowboys? I mean, I think it would be welcome for a lot of our audience for him to be a Cowboy, but Jerry just does not have a big, long, deep history of drafting Razorbacks. I think he's just been the one with Felix right? Jones. So, obviously McFadden played, but it didn't come into that organization through the draft. So, I'd love to see him be a
same thing. Yeah,
I'd love to see him be a Cowboy, but I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen, Clay.
No, and I will say this about the draft: just because you see a team work a player out, or you don't see him, has nothing to do with how they're going to be picked, because it will baffle you. Team thinks they've got all the information they need. They've seen them. We're not going to Fayetteville. We don't need to see that player. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see teams that come in, and when they come in, they see something they don't like, and then they don't draft them.
Yep.
And it's incredible because you cannot figure that out. There is not any way. I think Frank Ragnow, I don't think he thought there was any way Detroit was going to draft him, and they did in the first round. And there'll be teams that don't work a player out because they already made up their mind, and they don't want anybody else to know that that's the player they want. And it is an incredible mind game, and I can't figure it out. I've tried. You will never understand it.
That's what Tommy was saying earlier.
Yeah. It's a big poker game.
Yeah, they're just trying to do that. For Traylon, is there anyone – let me ask you this before we close out our Hog Update. Is there anyone of any owner that has a better idea of who Traylon Burks is, considering the owner went to every Razorback home game? His grandson played on the football team. And
he should have more insight than anyone.
I would think so. Now, that doesn't – again, like you and Clay just said, that doesn't necessarily lend you to believe that he's drafting Traylon Burks, but amongst the owners of the National Football League and the GMs, I would think that Jerry has just as much, if not more, knowledge.
And don't you figure Jerry has to be stopped on selecting Razorbacks? I mean, someone's pulling him back a lot of times on those things.
Yeah, to me, that's why he drafted Felix Jones. And if you remember, he did draft Felix.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think that when he has that kind of an idea about a player's talents, and it just, they need a wide receiver. They dumped Amari Cooper, right? They're
mm-hmm.
trying to get their salary cap in order. It would be fun if that's where he ended up, because we see more Cowboy games than any, don't we? The way they have the way we're considered a regional destination for the way they pipe in the Cowboy games. So that would be great. Yeah. And it's proximity for Razorback fans. There'll be an awful lot of people that, okay, I'm going to watch Burks, and I get that. So I hope that's where he goes. But let's just be honest. There isn't anybody that can figure out that man. I'm talking about Jerry Jones. Yeah. I can't figure him out.
Yeah. What you don't want is an emotional decision. So that's what Jerry would probably be making there.
And that's going to do it for your Hog Update, brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, gentlemen, I want you to listen to this headline that I was sent yesterday. A high school senior took his great-grandmother to her first prom. She never went when she was in school. He didn't have anyone he wanted to take. She is 92 years old.
Good for him.
And he took her to her first prom. Thoughts on that?
I would think doing something that sweet and showing that much love and respect for your grandmother, Clay, I would think the ladies at the school, the girls at the school would be lined up to go out with you next Friday night.
I think that guy's going to get his reward in heaven. Yeah. I mean, that is so impressive to me, and I don't know all the details, and I don't know if she can dance. I don't know whether, she can make
doesn't matter.
Mean punch drink. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
She could buy the alcohol.
She'll be the prom queen, though. Everybody will be paying attention to her.
Hey, she was out there jitterbugging. I want to see the video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a neat story right there. So, all right, we got more to get to. And, Clay, I know you didn't want to talk food, but we got the Masters Champions menu. And you might be interested in what Hideki Matsuyama is serving at the Champions Dinner. So we'll talk about the Masters, also get Clay's thoughts on last night's championship game coming up. We're brought to you by the Fence Man. They still need great people to join the team with the Fence Man. They got a $500 sign-on bonus, great pay, and plenty of work. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. They need people to go to work right now to get all the fencing jobs they've got lined up for spring and summer. So if you have fence building skills, construction skills, welding skills, they want to talk to you. 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
When we come back, we'll recap a little bit of the national championship last night. We'll talk more about Jaylin Williams' decision, and as Tommy mentioned, get a little Masters talk as it is Masters Week on the Morning Rush.
Level up your outdoor space today at your #1 source for backyard fun, Burton Pools and Spas. Cash and carry above ground pools start at only $19.99. Get up to $900 off in-stock models. Take advantage of upfront savings and low operating costs with a Doughboy semi-in-ground pool. Book yours now and receive a $600 robotic cleaner for free. Create the backyard of your dreams at an affordable price at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and Springdale.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At Clay Maxey Auto Group, making the relationship has been what we've always been about. Can't control the market, but we can control who we are and how we act every day. And we're just going to be really good at being us. It's always been more than just selling cars or servicing them. It's a people business. We're here to take care of the customer. To me, it's important that it's about the relationship, not the transaction. Come visit us today at Clay Maxey Auto Group.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Winter is actually a good time to paint. The paint store over here in Van Buren has the most popular colors on large sample boards so you can see the color in your home. Rather do some outside painting? Our low temperature application product allows you to paint down to 35 degrees. It's okay. Experience hometown customer service you won't get at a national brand and get free professional advice from our 34 years of experience. Come see Sue and her team at the paint store in Van Buren. Find us on the internet.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
It is here, fast, reliable internet from Wave Rural Connect. Cedarville, Uniontown, Natural Dam, and surrounding areas get fast fiber internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust based in Ozark, Arkansas. Internet starts at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone at $29.95. Order now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Do it now. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Spring is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear for getting outdoors. There's no better way to spend a day than catching fish on a pond, creek, lake, or river. Jelco has all the rods, reels, baits, and tackle to make your fishing a success. Hurry in and check out the new fishing kayaks and canoes by Old Town and New Canoe. Bass fishermen, check out the new American-made JB3 rods, the lightest rods on earth. When you think spring, think Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and occasional thunderstorms are high this afternoon, expecting to be into the low to mid 70s. We are expecting to see a few showers or thunderstorms tonight, overnight low, upper 40s to low 50s. And then we will start to clear things out a little bit later on Wednesday, our high mid to upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
Feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest. It's more than a
The call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
This miracle run continues for St. Peter's. The Peacocks make history. Just another reason you gotta love March.
Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, kicking off hour number 3 of a Toyota Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush with some basketball, and then we'll head to Augusta and talk some golf. But Jaylin Williams, the big news coming out of yesterday that he is entering the NBA draft but not hiring an agent. Plus, the biggest basketball game of the season last night was spectacular. North Carolina falling to the Kansas Jayhawks by 3 points, and we'll talk about both those coming up before we get to golf.
Hey, Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members, if you live north of Van Buren, you're in Crawford County, they've opened a new zone near Cedarville with Wave Rural Connect. Cedarville, Natural Dam, Uniontown, and surrounding areas now have high-speed fiber internet. That's the best internet you can get right now. Starts at $49.95 a month for 100 megs. You can go up to a gig for a little bit more. TV and phone services are available as well. So if you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, you need to call 833-492-8372 or check online if they are in your neighborhood now at waveruralconnect.com. They are changing communities all over Western Arkansas. That's 833-492-8372 or sign up online at waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities they serve.
Down on Manick, and here we go. Manick circling around and slipped underneath. They go to Love. Love's going to be the one to take it. Puts up the shot. It's off! The game is over! And Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback all time.
You brought this up earlier, Tommy. As powerful a program as Kansas is in basketball, 4 national championships. Arkansas fans would love to say they've had 4 national championships. You had one back in the 50s, I think 52. Danny Manning won one. They won in 2008, and they just won last year. it just seems like that they would just have more if you just had the optics, but it's the NCAA tournament. We know how difficult it is to win.
Yeah, and you just think about the Blue Bloods, and what North Carolina's got 6, Duke's got 5, and now Kansas has 4, and UCLA leads the way at 11, Clay. But, I mean, what it tells me is how hard it is. If Kansas has 4, and Arkansas should have 2, but they got 1, it just tells you how hard, and, Coach K described it as the Holy Grail. It is so difficult to get there and lift that trophy on that Monday night.
Well, that's why we count Final Fours.
He's exactly right.
I think that Coach Krzyzewski made an interesting point, and he said that they had won a championship when they consider a regional championship because you cut down the nets when you go to the Final Four. So that's interesting, and I hadn't thought about how many Kansas has. I covered the Danny Manning game because they beat Billy Tubbs in Oklahoma and Kansas City for that championship, and they did not have the best team in that game, but they had the best player, and sometimes that's all it takes. And I thought that McCormick was the best player on the floor with Baycoat, having the ankle problems. He could have been the best player if he'd been fully healthy, and that's the sad part when you get to the championship game and you don't have your horses. Love sprained his ankle, and that was definitely a factor in the game too.
Did you guys see the floor? Have you seen the video yet? I know you've probably seen it. The floor, Baycott, because remember it's I don't know. Even is it the squares that they bring in?
It's a modular floor that they construct. It's an elevated floor, but it's not a permanent deal. Obviously,
it almost like cracks below him. You need to watch that video when he sprained his ankle.
It was horrible. Yeah, and I saw players go down throughout the Final Four in a big play, a big sequence in the last shot. I think they were setting up something for Brady Manick, and he was coming around the baseline, and I don't know whether he got a forearm shiver or what, but he went down and was not involved in the play, could not get back up in time. So it's there were some slips and some falls and some cracks that would catch your foot. I mean, it looked like, Love was just moving down the floor and looked like the edge of his foot caught something, like you say, and a crack. So that's sad if that's what as much money as the NCAA has, and they have to put down that kind of a floor. But I guess that's what they do.
They've always, I don't know how long has it been, close to 10 years, where they've started playing the Final Four in domes so they could seat 70,000. I've been on these elevated floors, probably not one that has the money invested in it like this, but and it's rare that you see these, but they're brought in pieces and put together. Now, all the floors are redone, and from my understanding, they sell off a lot of these floors to schools that need a new floor at the end of, because you got the regional sites and the Sweet 16, and they sand them and repaint them. So, but that is not new. And I'm trying to remember, Kevin.
Like a jigsaw.
What was the guy? I don't think the floor, but who was the guy for Louisville? Kevin that broke his leg and his lower leg. Kevin Ware. Remember that play? And it was on one of those elevated floors.
Gross.
That was as bad as Joe Theismann, and it happened on one of those kind of floors.
Spiral fracture.
Oh, it was just brutal to watch.
Where it came out, and that team ended up kind of galvanizing and going on to win a national championship. They beat, I think, Wichita State in the Final Four and Michigan, I believe, in the national championship game, if I remember that right.
But I would have a hard time believing that the NCAA would start the game knowing if there was an issue with the floor. They'd had all day Sunday to fix it. Now, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't have come apart or had a problem during the game, but you're right, Clay, that the players should have a pristine surface to play on for a national title.
And how do you go about doing that? I mean, do you –
well, you can play on permanent floors and not worry about what the writing is. That's the whole key. Is they want their writing, they want their logos, they want their so
their branding. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's they put a floor on top of it.
But I do think I'm of the opinion it presents better on TV with the way it's done now than you've got the Texas Longhorn logo or whatever out there in the middle. You see Jim Valvano running around and. What was it, the New Mexico State logo or whatever, that was in Albuquerque. To me, I do think the way they do it now, but they've got plenty of money. They get $800 million a year. They can repaint some floors.
Yeah, that's.
But
it's not.
You can't play in a dome that way, because they're not going to put a permanent floor inside a.
There are
arena.
none.
Yeah.
So, but it was definite an issue and some things that happened in the game.
Yeah,
and the floor has to be elevated just to make everything work, courtside. So.
It was unfortunate. So kind of transitioning to continuing on with basketball, but more to what Jaylin Williams, I think a lot of you would love to see Arkansas in a situation that Kansas found itself last night. This next year is in Houston in RG Stadium, which Arkansas fans would just flood that place, I would think. I would love to be a fly on the wall during these conversations that Jalen is going to be having with NBA scouts and general managers and just the feedback that he's going to be receiving. He had this to say yesterday. I'm announcing my intention to enter the 2022 NBA draft process. However, here's the key. I will not be hiring an agent to keep my eligibility at the University of Arkansas. He's going to be talking with his support group, his family, and just kind of going through the process, and he's going to be making an informed decision when the time comes. And I think it's actually June the 13th. We were talking about dates earlier, Tommy. I think the last day to withdraw, double check on this again, but I think it's actually June the 13th instead of June the 1st.
So, and I, my gut says he's coming back, but he may get information, Clay, that leads him in a different direction. I don't feel like right now he's looking to leave, and I think if he was, he'd have hired that agent like JD Notae, but maybe that's just the fan. I got my Razorback glasses on hoping that's the outcome, but my gut tells me in the end he's going to be back and play one more year.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that are in his favor for coming back. I mean, getting a degree is one of them. Now, don't forget that.
And I've been told with his mama that's a big deal.
No, so. and I that was going to be my point, is that family understands, and the other part of it is that things have changed from 5 years ago, with the NIL money, and he's going to keep signing contracts. He is a beloved Razorback.
And they're going to be bigger, not smaller.
So. Yeah. And so, it's not going to be painful for him to be a, quote, amateur college basketball player. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, that's a misnomer now. Mm-hmm. But it's he's going to get the right kind of feedback, and I think that Eric Musselman has already started that by saying, we're going to teach you that taking charges isn't the be-all with-all. You can also, protect the rim, and, that you need to have a vertical game as well as a horizontal or, down on the floor game where he's laying down on his back. Because how many charges has he taken? 57?
54, I believe it was.
54? That's a lot of contact. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's not just we were talking about this earlier. It's your ribs, it's your sternum, it's not
spleen.
Just it's all of it. Taking that contact.
And Jimmy Counts, he took one in the Final Four that cost him a spleen.
And let's also make this. Let me make this point too. He took 54 charges. That doesn't mean he got ran over 54 times. He got ran over probably 75 or 80 times because some of those calls were blocks. So they don't go into that count of 54.
Yeah,
so it's not just 54 collisions. There was probably 75 or 80 collisions over the course of the season.
Ty, when you play pickup basketball, do you take charges?
I did in intramurals. We don't call charges, and I'm not trying to get just run over by – I was telling Tommy a story the other day. Jalen came down the lane one time, and I made a business decision and got out of it as he threw it down. That's just not something that I have at my size, at about – 6 foot, 185 pounds. It's not going to go well for.
See, I was going to say that if you did, I'll come play in one of your pickup games.
Mm-hmm. Just to run me over.
Not once.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
If you were playing with Jaylin Williams and you got out of his way, that was a smart business decision.
I would call for the ball on the low post and then turn the shoulder right into you.
Oh, that sounds illegal, Clay.
It'd be a flagrant 3.
Oh, they can I'll just give you the ball and you can have it out of bounds. Yeah.
I don't want foul. I don't want a broken jaw. I might have to wear a mouthpiece.
Oh, I'm teasing. But the point is, those things do add up. Yeah.
So with all this happening, you saw the same thing I did. Jeff Borzillo of ESPN has Arkansas right now as his preseason number 1, and that's under the anticipation. He didn't even know if Jalen or Audis is going to come back. Arkansas right now is tied with Duke for the best odds to win the national championship next year. Now, there's a lot that can happen between now and then. We know that. You as an Arkansas fan know that all that too well.
And Duke's in transition. There's some staff movement going on. There's some things going on there too. So
Nolan Smith taking the Louisville job. For those who don't remember, Nolan Smith was on that 2010 national championship team under Coach K. And so that's something to keep an eye on and monitor as well. This is going to be a fun basketball season. And it stinks that we have to sit here and we can't really get hot and heavy into basketball until November because that's when the season picks up again. But depending on what Jalen decides, and as you, Clay, just alluded to, it's not like he's going to be lacking for funds. I think there would be, say, probably potentially some suitors that are like, Jalen, what's it going to take for you to come back to school? And he's got to go through his draft process, see where he's graded out. You mentioned the importance of him getting his degree, which his mom, from what you've learned, that's an important part of his life.
What moms, though, don't want you to get a degree? I haven't found that.
So, guys, this is me from the outside looking in. He's a great thinker. I mean, he's going to process this, and he's going to make the right decision because he always does. And he is just that kind of a human being. And, you know, we talk about Sidney Moncrief. That's what we talk about. What kind of human being is Sidney? And he makes great decisions. He demonstrated on the court what kind of player he was in person. Jalen's the same way. And, you know, in crunch time, he is just terrific. And it's like you trust him, right, to make decisions. Well, he's going to make another decision. The people around him are smart.
Yep.
He's going to do this the right way. If he goes to the NBA, it is because an awful lot of facts and evidence stacks up to say that this is going to be a successful decision for him because that's what he does.
Yeah. Tank in Fort Smith just texted in. He's right about it. He's going to make the right decision for Jalen. And that might end up with the conclusion that's not the best decision for the Razorback basketball program, but that's exactly what you're saying there. That's just doubling down on what you're saying. It's the right decision for Jalen is the decision Jalen needs to make.
It will not be an emotional gut reaction decision. So, but, you know, the program will be fine. They're going to keep getting good players. That's what we see. And, you know, I would be more worried about, you know, some of the other guys that are making decisions. I don't know, you know, what Tony's going to do. You know, it would seem pretty obvious that he would fit perfectly with the guys coming in, would be the leader of that bunch if they don't have Jalen. It's going to – but tie back, you know, wishing that basketball would just continue. I'm ready for baseball, and then I'll be ready for football. Then I'll be ready for basketball. I don't do that where I play one sport year-round. And that's the beauty of what we've got at Arkansas right now. It is a logical transition from one sport to the other, and they're all fun.
And one of the things you can do when going to baseball games this season is stop by CJ's Butcher Boy Burger, either on your way from Central or Northeast Arkansas at the Russellville location, or you can stop at the Fayetteville location on Weddington. And if you're looking for a new job in either of those locations, you can apply online at butcherboyburger.com. Just click on the career link. Make sure you're following Keith and his team on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And don't forget about the CJ's Butcher Boy Burger seasoning that you have to buy a lot because Laura likes to use it.
I used it last night. I made pork chops last night. Put them on the pork chops.
Perfect. Yeah. It's good on chips. It's good on any type of meat. It's good on everything. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best.
Hello, friends.
All right, I want to talk about the Masters and the tournament itself, but one thing that came out about a half hour ago, Clay, was the Champions Dinner, which is one of the really neat traditions in all of sports.
Yep.
And Hideki Matsuyama, who was the champion last year, gets to pick the menu, and this is one of the rare deals where all the living champions that can make the dinner are there. And the menu's out. It's got one of Clay's favorite, assorted sushi, as the appetizers tonight. Now, Clay, quickly, I know you moved over to the chicken skewers that were going to be on the appetizer menu, but as I scrolled down the menu, one thing that caught my interest in this Japanese-inspired menu was the A5 Wagyu beef ribeye with mixed mushrooms and vegetables. You got your choice of that or fish tonight. I believe I'll go with the beef, sir.
Yes, and you said something about being rare. Serve mine rare. I just,
you had me at Wagyu.
Rare, but rare. Yeah, it's going to melt in your mouth. That is such a treat. Not everybody's had that, and it sounds a little bit exotic.
It is.
But it is the sweetest meat that you can eat.
Yeah, and then they'll have a Japanese strawberry shortcake for dessert. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know this is, Ty, you do not put ketchup on Wagyu.
Don't do
beef.
that.
So. You do not put ketchup on. You don't put anything on it.
You got
It's going to melt in your mouth.
Clay, one of the things I'm interested in the tournament this year, they've made some changes, I believe, to number 11 and number 5 on the course. To me, the course is always the star of the show, and the golf is somewhat secondary. I watch as much for Augusta National itself, and this is probably the only event I watch for the venue, but I'm interested in a little bit of the changes that Fred Ridley and the staff have made at Augusta. Yeah, it's interesting because that is an ever-changing. It is they tweak it, of course, they tiger-proofed it, and it really changed dramatically the type of players that were winning it when they stretched it out to say. You don't really know the length. They just tell you it's 7,500 yards, and they don't change the numbers. It's all you want.
Yeah, it's all you want. I think it's raining there today. They're supposed to have rain, but they have the sub-air where they can make the green still dry. But it's always a treat when you walk through the gates because, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You don't know exactly what's going to be there. They will plant or replant or move grown trees, huge trees. I mean, they're like, okay, there was somebody here that had a shot here that they shouldn't have, that should have been blocked, so they'll just bring a tree in.
Yeah, it's one of the few places there's two places on earth that, to me, display and show you what is possible when money is no object. Augusta National is one, and I'm sure there are others, but Augusta National is one, and then top of the rock, just south of Branson, where you've got the Jack Nicklaus course and the fabulous clubhouse, restaurant facility, the wedding chapel. Those are the two places I've been to, guys, that, hey, when money's no object and you can just spend as much as you want, this is what's possible. Augusta National is one of those places, Clay.
I've heard two different stories, one about a golf course being built in West Little Rock and another one outside of near Broken Arrow where a golf course architect was walking around doing a routing, and they said, I really like the hole right here. And it was mentioned, well, we don't own that land. And before the day was over, the architect was told, we now own that land.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's what you say when money is no object.
Absolutely. Hey, we're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. You can seek and explore all the great sites, and there's so many wonderful natural wonders in our state that you can kind of have a front row seat to with an RV from Wheels RV, and you get the lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell, and they sell the best brands at the best prices. You'll find Wheels RV 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
I want to talk to you a little more about Traylon Burks and the weeks he's had coming up. Plus, there's a wild story of a weatherman calling his kids mid-broadcast to let them know about an incoming tornado.
This is
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through Him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
We're finally here. The top teams in college basketball have been determined, and the Final Four is set. Looking to wager on these games or the national championship? Head over to betonline.ag on your desktop or your mobile device and sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV to get started. That's BLEAV. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all your updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Pigs, pokes, and boomer hats. As always, check Facebook for daily specials. All this and more at the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your number one golf shop since 1994.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Crush your hunger at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith with the new Chicken Slammers. TGI Fridays Chicken Slammers are chicken fingers tossed in our favorite sauces and tucked into a warm mini New England roll. Served with your favorite sides. Choose your flavor, Italian, buffalo, or whiskey glazed. And for dessert, try the new Peanut Butter Fudge Obsession. Oreo cookie crust, peanut butter fudge and M&Ms topped with vanilla bean ice cream and more. And don't forget it's happy hour all day every day at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith at I-540 and Rogers. Order online at Fridays.com.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I'm on a mission to help you cash in when you clean out your garage. So stop making payments on a car you're not happy with, because right now you could clean up in a Rath Road Ready vehicle, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. It's out with the old and in with the new, only during my Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event. So dust off that old ride and trade up when you bring it in today, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. Keeping the car you have? Keep it running this spring with a free inspection, half off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires in our Meineke Car Care Center. But hurry, this deal's done once 86 people make a clean getaway in a nicer, newer car. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
Gives them some breathing room, up by 6.
And another turnover for the Aggies.
Slam on the other end by Tony.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Back here on the Morning Rush, going to talk a little Traylon Burks here coming up. We'll also talk your SEC update later on as well. Some big news in the coming weeks as we get ready for the NFL Draft. April the 28th kicks off on a Thursday, and I know a lot of you are curious to see where Burks ends up. He's got a couple meetings this week with some NFL teams. We'll talk about that in just a sec.
Hey, we're talking about great food a minute ago. Art's Barbecue is the place to go when you're looking for some grilled options right now, some blackened options. They have them at Art's with the tilapia now on the menu, so grilled or blackened. Catfish Fridays are back as well, and they really keep that on the menu year-round. So don't just think about Art's with great ribs and tender brisket and pulled pork. They got all of that. But you can also get the grilled options that include the tilapia grilled and blackened, the fried catfish that they have available in the all-you-can-eat catfish. That's on Friday as well. It's all at Art's Barbecue, Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith, or use their phone number to call ahead, and they'll have it to-go order ready for you in the drive-thru menu, 452-2550. That's 452-2550 for Art's Barbecue in Fort Smith.
Guys, I've seen a lot of people, NFL guys and gals, that evaluate prospects, and they keep saying, well, Burks didn't have the best combine times, and then they keep going, well, just look at the tape. And I know we've talked about that. There would be some intrigue there if Traylon ended up going to the Dallas Cowboys for a lot of you listening to the program, which would be just cool, him being close to home. I know Kansas City Chiefs fans want him to go to Kansas City. I know me and Brett would love to see him end up in Green Bay. There's a lot of different places. I just hope he gets put with a good team. And these typically don't all apply. Good coach, good team, and good management. If he can get just two of the three, I'd be okay with that.
Tyler
quarterback.
Good. Yeah,
quarterback.
Yeah. Tyler used to talk about this, though. You want to have a position coach that believes in you, an offensive coordinator that believes in you. And he was looking at from the QB position, but someone that either has a connection with maybe someone on your college coaching staff, someone that has a reason to invest and pour into you. Because the worst thing, Clay, is to get into your position room and you get the feeling that, hey, my position coach or my coordinator didn't even really want them to draft me because they're upset they didn't get the other guy that's now at a division rival or at another team in the NFL. Having a position coach that really wants you there is so critical to your success.
Yeah, I think the head coach as well. But when you look, you want to play for Dak Prescott. Absolutely. You want to play for Tom Brady? Getting with the right quarterback, and there's a handful. There's 6, 8, 10, and then there's some that obviously the quarterback at Cincinnati, you'd like to play for him. They're not probably going to be drafting another wide receiver with what they've got, but it's there is a team that you want to play for, and then there's some teams that you just like, okay, that's the death spiral right there.
Yeah.
A wide receiver end up in that with that team. And never has it been more true than when Darren McFadden was drafted by the Raiders. You just knew that was not where you wanted him to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Or Tyler Wilson when he was drafted by the Raiders.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same issues as you want to be in a good organization that is really tailor-made for you, because I think it's, even if you've got elite talent, it's still hard to stick and stay in pro sports, NFL, NBA, whatever we're talking about. We've been talking about Jaylin Williams and his decision to enter the draft without an agent. It's just you got to have a lot of things go your right to make pro sports be a career for you.
Yeah, I think that's obviously true, and I think the thing that really looks good to Burks for me is that he's not a top 10 player. Well, when you say, oh, you'd like to be a top 10 player because you make more money. But generally, those teams are not very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go to the Jets. Yeah. You don't want to go to the Dolphins. You don't want to go – and I'd even throw Denver in there right now. They're in the – you're talking about management. You don't know what their management's – they're in turmoil. They're going to be a new – but you're not going to – you're not going to draft far enough or drop far enough down that you're going to be going to the Rams or – everybody says the Packers, but, man, I don't know if the Packers will still be around for
who's
going to
be your quarterback in 2 years? Maybe Rodgers for one, but, that's just.
Well, if they get Burks, Rodgers might like to stay there.
That might be true. Hey, go to.
All that works together.
That's right. Go to hitthatline.com, click on the podcast network, and you'll find Coffee with Counsel, one of our podcasts that are there, and you can find that with Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull. They'll walk you through a lot of different legal areas and give you some free advice, plus some discussion about sports as well. It's a fun listen. You can find the different ones that maybe apply to an area of the law that you're looking at right now, whether it's family law, contract, business issues, and more. There, I think, 14 episodes that are up now, and they're all timely. So depending on your situation, the information is great. Then you can call Brad or Kevin at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley, 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas, and find them online at kevinhickeylaw.com.
I was just going over the wide receiver board. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State, Jahan Dotson at Penn State, Olave at Ohio State, George Pickens at Georgia, Mechie, and then Jameson Williams are some of the guys that stands out. Really curious to see what some of these GMs and NFL owners think of what Treylon Burks stacks up compared to the rest of some of the other guys I just listed out.
All right, your SEC update is on the way. We're brought to you by BUSR.com. If you missed out on any of the action in March Madness, it's not too late for all the other great stuff that's coming up as well. The NBA season is headed towards the playoffs. Major League Baseball getting ready to get underway. Draft and so many other things. There's a full sports book, race book, and casino online at BUSR.com. Go to BUSR.com/Morning Rush and get a 100% deposit bonus. So you deposit $100, they match $100. You put in $500, they'll match $500 as well. It's as simple as that. Go to BUSR.com/Morning Rush. That's BUSR.com/Morning Rush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR.
Your SEC update is next. Stay with us. It's the Morning Rush.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more.
Amazing. I was just thinking of a RAV4.
Well, imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Okay, I've just got my RAV4. I am picking up my friends and going out to lunch to celebrate.
Perfect. A bistro? A deli?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
Whoa, okay. I love barbecue.
Huh. Well, then you should imagine yourself digging into the best ribs you've ever tasted.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
My imaginary self thought you'd never ask.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Whether you're imagining yourself in a sporty Camry, versatile Highlander, or the spacious Venza, now's the time to ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You have a job, kids, and a million things to do in no time, and now your car needs to be serviced or fixed or tires? Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Free shuttle service. Pickup delivery service free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier and take better care of your vehicle at the same time. Hi, Kim Bircher. See, the thing is, Jody'sAuto.com does everything. Everyday oil change specials. Tires are price matched, including the warehouse clubs and all the best brands. Any services, brakes, alignments, all the way to engines, and any maintenance. You are trusting your vehicle to a local company in business for 37 years. Voted best of the best time and time again. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
It's a pretty wild statistic from Josh Pate of 24/7 Sports yesterday that Texas A&M has signed more five-star players in 2022 than the entire Big Ten and twice as many as the entire ACC. One school from the SEC has signed as many players in the Big Ten five-star as the entire Big Ten, and then twice as many as the Atlantic Coast Conference.
But how many five-stars are there in football every year? I mean, it's not that many.
So like 20, Clay?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I was going to say between 15 and 20 certified, bona fide, classified, whatever word you want to use, five, all that.
Ultra.
With cheese, large fries, 5 stars. So you think about it just from a math standpoint, you can see how you can come to that, because how many does the SEC? I mean, I bet if you put a percentage on it the last 3 years, 5 years, the percentage of the 5 stars that end up in the SEC, it'd be overwhelming between Alabama, A&M. LSU got theirs a couple of years ago. So, but now, the 5 stars out of high school are great, Clay, but how you do in the transfer portal determines as much about your immediate success as anything.
Yeah, that's part of the recruiting battle now. Evaluation and, plugging them into the right spot. You fill need, and it's the ultimate way to fill a need because it's an experienced player, a mature player, oftentimes. So, it's what all the programs are doing. Alabama, plucked the best running back out of the portal, the Georgia Tech kid that's great out of the backfield, catching passes, blocking. He's super deluxe. All those things we talked about. He was not a 5-star, but he probably is a 5-star in how you can plug him in. And same thing for Drew Sanders for Arkansas. I mean, they needed another linebacker, and that might be the galvanizing move for this defense.
Yeah, you'd love to see Sanders. I saw that funny video of him, bumper pool. I think Christian Poupal was in it as well. These little tidbits and clips. And Clay, I know you're going to get a chance to watch the scrimmage on Saturday. And,
yeah, I'm going to go today too.
And see, and I was going to say, and see that today as well. It's nice to be able to see just a little bit of an inside look at what Razorback football is in spring practice right now as we continue on that. So Drew Sanders being what he is, and I know that Coach Pittman, you might have been the one that asked him the question about Sanders, maybe it was someone else, but that is going to be someone that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to this upcoming season. Former Cleveland State, and I guess he could technically go back to Florida, but he's entering the transfer portal. That would be Tyree Appleby. I'm curious to where he ends up landing. A guy that hit a couple threes against Arkansas earlier this season. It's apparently heard from Arkansas, so keep an eye on where the Jacksonville native could end up. Now, we were talking about the open scrimmage. Clay, you didn't get a chance to watch scrimmage this past Saturday. It was closed to the media. You do get a chance to see it. I know they're not. It's hard for you sometimes because they don't reveal everything during the course of a scrimmage. But what are some things that you've kind of picked up on, or like give us a kind of a glimpse behind the curtain of what's been going on?
Yeah, I think that what's so important in football is your cornerback play. If you can play tight man-to-man press, then you can blitz. If you can't, then you can't blitz. And I think you saw Arkansas's cornerback play improve late in the season, and then they felt comfortable about blitzing. If you can't cover, then they'll see somebody open on a slant, and the blitz will never get there. So you have to be able to play tight. And I see Dwight McLaughlin. I see Ladarius Bishop. I see Malik Chavis, Hudson Clark. I think they're better at cornerback than they've been in a while. And I think the secondary keeps getting better. And the return of Jalen Catalon is just huge, and I think that
might be understating it.
Yeah, so. I mean it's just huge, and I know losing Monteric Brown was a blow, but I think that the maturation of the cornerback, and it looks like they really like Dominic Bowman, the new coach, and that gives you a chance because you can send a linebacker, you can blitz a nickel, knowing that your corners are going to hold up for 3 counts or 4 counts. And that's what you need to be able to get to the quarterback in the SEC.
Clay, I don't know if you can glean all this from watching a couple of practices, but how do you see Bowman and Odom working together in that secondary? I know there's times where he may have to coach all of it in practice for brief periods while Odom's doing other things with the defense. How do you think that dynamic, or can you even tell through the limited
match? Fine. Yeah, and I think Barry is heavily involved with, and he's got the ability to kind of move around in practice and get what he needs done. But yeah, I think that seems to be a good fit. Okay. And you have to remember Barry's a veteran guy, and he is so good at adjusting to others. So I didn't ever really worry about that. Yeah. It's not a deal where he's volatile, or it really is smooth how it works there. I think that's a good question, but I don't think that's something that's going to hold him back.
No, I just wondered if you'd observed anything yet through a couple practices.
You just see that it's just working smooth.
I wasn't necessarily worried about it, but it is something that worth paying attention to in the limited access we've had to watch.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Tommy. So far, I've seen 2 practices. I've talked to others that have watched, maybe more, and that probably hasn't been what I've gone out there to watch for, but I've noticed that it seems to be okay.
I think
if it wasn't okay, it'd probably stick out. So
probably so, yeah. And it looks like, early on, McLaughlin was was a little bit out there, edgy, and they've seemed to dial him back. And so I'll say that's a head coach, coordinator, cornerback coach deal that they all seem to be on the same page. And boy, I tell you, every time that you see Sam Pittman in a media op or you watch a practice and you watch how he does things, you know, you just kind of grow in the respect of, okay, this is an SEC head coach. You thought it would be, but you don't know until you've seen it. And now we're in the third year, and they're so much further along with what they're doing in the spring, and that goes to having your coordinators all back. The practice and the transitions between periods, I mean, they're smoking out there, you know, in what they get done and in how they get it done.
All right, so that's your SEC update this morning. It's brought to you by Ashley Air. Warmer weather is on the way. Hey, is the AC ready? I'm in that phase right now where one day it's air conditioning, one day it's back to the heat. Hey, welcome to Arkansas in April right now. Get your $69 tune-up special right now from Ashley Air. Their trained technicians will come to your home or business and check your system, make sure it's cooling the way it should, and get you ready for those hot and humid days we all know are ahead of us. It's part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Hey, on game day, call the Hogs. When your AC needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com. That's AshleyAir.com, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
I know we had to deal with a tornado in our lives in some capacity. For D.C. meteorologist Doug Kammerer, it was a different kind of dealing with a natural disaster because he's on air as a meteorologist doing this and realizing that his kids are probably not paying attention, and so this happened.
This is going to go right over my house. So very close to my house, which again is in the Chevy Chase area, Bethesda area. This is along Wisconsin Avenue as well. So heads up if you live along Massachusetts or Wisconsin Avenue. Kent, you there, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, hey man, I want you to get down in the basement. We got a tornado warning. All right, so I want to make sure you and Callie get downstairs as soon as you can. Okay? Yeah, get down there right now. Get in the bedroom down there, and just kind of wait for like 10, 15 minutes. Okay? Do it now. All right, thanks, buddy. All right, so that was just, got to warn my kids because I know what my kids are doing right now. They're probably online gaming, and they're not seeing this. So we have a tornado warning. Hopefully they saw it on their phones.
Yeah, that seems like something Dylan would be like sirens going off, Tommy. He's in the midst of an intense Is it still Fortnite for Dylan?
No, well, we still go back to Roblox every now and then and things you build. He likes to build stuff in that. Okay. So
maybe you got
some dinosaur game.
Maybe you've got.
I check in, watch. Dad, get out of my room. That's all I get out of it. So why are you watching me?
No, hey, Dad, I love you.
You're distracting me. Oh, I get that,
thanks
but
for providing all this.
Close the door on your way out.
Maybe
I know you guys have been through the tornado drills, in Fort Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's, y'all have been zapped, Fort Smith, Van Buren, that area. We lived in Tulsa for 14 years. The first time we left the girls without babysitters. In other words, they're 12 and 13, and they're being asked to babysit for people in our church, in our neighborhood. And we were like, okay, we're going to go to dinner. Tornado came over the house. We were at dinner. We threw money down on the table and headed home. They were in the hallway with mattresses over them. Trained well.
Yeah. So
that's pretty good, Clay. Good job, Beck and Sarah.
Laura and I's 15th anniversary, 2019, we go to the Turks and Caicos. We land. It's pouring down rain there, but our phones still think they're in Fort Smith or whatever. We land, and we're getting tornado warnings for Fort Smith on our phones. And it's in Central Fort Smith, which is where our house is at.
Yeah.
Call a buddy of mine who's doing some work at my house, and the tornado is coming like right near the house, right over the because they said it's near the airport, which is close to where I live.
That's us.
We call our daughter, who's watching our other daughter. Where are they at? They're out at getting their nails done or whatever in the midst of all of this. So that wasn't the great way to start the anniversary vacation there.
Yeah.
We had a tornado. As we're landing, we're finding out, right now, tornado hitting near your house.
Yeah.
So just a couple
By the
of
way,
years
there
ago.
were 13 people killed in that tornado that went over our house. So our house was not touched. Yep.
Tornado Alley. They call it that for a reason around here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, take it serious, right?
Yeah, it's not a laughing matter by any stretch of the imagination. You can hear the concern in Doug's voice. Be like, kids, I
can't imagine being a weatherman knowing it's going over your house and there's nothing you can do. That would be such a helpless feeling to me, knowing I need to be there to protect my family, but I got to be here because this is my job. This is what I'm required to do. So, I don't know. That would be a helpless feeling to me, Ty.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So I don't have kids, but I can only imagine from that perspective, just being in that situation. It's not fun at all. All right, well, we'll talk more.
The best we can do is, hey, son, there's a line coming out with an over-under that's way off. Bet it now. Bet it early. That's about all we got here that would be that urgent, right?
The equivalent on it. All right, we'll talk more Masters later on in the week. Hopefully Tiger plays.
Go Tiger.
Who
it's
said
so much more interesting if he does play.
Yeah,
so.
I hope he plays. We've got Arkansas baseball tonight and this weekend, so get ready for that as well. For Clay, Tommy, Drew, I'm Ty. Everyone have a fantastic Toyota Tuesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on a What's Your Beef Wednesday.
Warmer weather is here. Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 spring tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's cooling your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's